Alright, looks like we are up and running. So that's good. Hopefully everything's looking good. Today, we are going to be continuing our Elden Ring playthrough and talking about why female game developers make everything ugly. Sydney Watson is going to be educating us on that. So I'm excited to learn about that phenomenon with y'all today. Let's see if we can get a little educated. Without further ado, let's start the show.
Why do they always ruin all the things I like?
First thing I'm just noticing, not that it's an important thing, but she said ruin all the things that she likes. So I find that's awesome. I kind of like to hear that because it shows that even, I don't actually know Sydney Watson's gender preferences. I don't know if she's straight or gay or whatever. I don't know nothing. I've never seen a video by this person except for the beginning of this one. But it is at least showing that women prefer pretty women in games too. So I just, I appreciate that we're already starting there.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And as per usual, before we launch in, today's video is sponsored by Foom.
Never heard of a Foom. I'm getting acquainted with so many sponsored videos now that I'm doing these streams. Took me for dead. So I've never heard of a Foom, but maybe we're gonna learn later what a Foom is. Can't wait.
I think it's pretty well established at this point that society has experienced a major shift in what it considers beautiful and attractive in the last number of years. And
I wonder if that's true. One of the things that I think, additional items required. Okay, so got our plus 10 Ujigatana. Gonna be bloody slashing the crap out of people. It's gonna be great. Yeah. Oh, you've moved. Let's talk to you a little bit. But women have. The beauty standards have changed. Yeah, this is a pretty normal thing. It's gonna happen all the time. You can see that like what men and women wore back in the day is way different than what men and women wear now for beauty standards. So that doesn't surprise me. You know what? I've got some. Is the doggo the best thing? I'm not sure. But yeah, that's a pretty common phenomenon. So it's not surprising that maybe this has happened. Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to go look at the spirit summons. Is there one that I can still afford that's potentially better than the doggos? No, it doesn't look like I can afford any of the ones that I got because I haven't been up in my FP at all. So we'll stick with doggos. Don't need to up them. I haven't really been using them that much, but don't need to up them. Anyway, yeah, so this is a pretty common thing. We can even see, like, recently, it used to be that, like, really thin women used to be, like, the main thing that people wanted. And now, like, with, like, Nicki Minaj and the Kardashians and stuff, like, thick is in, and that's with C's. I don't know how many C's. 3 or 4 C's. You gotta have the thickness. So that's in now. So yeah, so not very surprising. With men, one phenomenon that's happened to some degree is dad bods seem to be not taken over, but women seem to be appreciating dad bods a little bit more. I've had multiple women in my life tell me that they appreciate dad bods now. And being a man of stature myself, and not always the thinnest and most muscular dude, I can appreciate that change in that standard, you know? It's just, it works out in your favor sometimes.
And no, I'm not just talking about makeup and clothing. I'm also talking about whatever the hell it is that Gen Z is doing. I don't often...
Okay, I am also not, well, I'm not very familiar with what Gen Z is doing. I don't talk to any Gen Z. Well, I don't know, there might be a couple Gen Z people at work. But we definitely aren't talking about beauty standards while we're at work. So, I'm not sure whatever the hell Gen Z is doing. So, I don't know if that was just meant as a joke, but if you actually were trying to make a point there, which I'm sure you probably weren't, but if you were, I would like to know what the fuck you're talking about, because I have no idea. Is you just talking about Gen Z wears interesting makeup, or maybe not makeup, but they wear interesting clothing or something. You know, I'm supposed to be going to the one highway, but I couldn't figure out how the fuck to go there. So maybe we just, yeah, we go along this side, I think. That's what we're gonna try to do. We'll see if it works out. Yeah, I have no idea what she's talking about here.
Venture onto their part of the internet, but when I do, this shift in attractiveness is happening all over the place. In media, entertainment, film, and television, but one of the areas that people seem to talk about the most is video games.
Video games!
I actually started writing.
I wonder if, I'm trying to figure out what the actual shift would have been in non-video games. I haven't noticed too much of one. Maybe I'm crazy. But you've got, if you look at like the Marvel movies, almost all the women are conventionally attractive by standards that have been set since they started coming out. So that's at least within the last one in Marvel movie, 2018, 15 years. So like we still have all the ass shots and stuff in Black Widow. And we had those since she first joined in Iron Man 2. So that doesn't seem radically different. I mean, that's just Marvel. But even if we're talking about, like, Star Wars, I know I'm focusing on Disney here, but I think we need to focus, for this, we need to focus on mainstream stuff. So if we're talking about Star Wars, most of the women, like, Rey is conventionally attractive, definitely. What other women? I would say... Well, Ahsoka's an alien, so I don't, I don't know what opinions I have on her. Let's see, the women in The Mandalorian, like oh my god, this dude is smashing me. Oh my god. I can't remember her name, but the female Mandalorian who's kind of taken over the Mandalorian, it seems like. What is her name? It's the redheaded girl. She's conventionally attractive. I'm sure the armor is conventionally attractive underneath all of her armor. No, we're not doing that. Boy! Maybe we are doing that. Just smashing me currently. Got him. Oh my god. Yeah, so most of the women that we see in stuff are still attractive by similar standards that it feels like they always have been. Not always, but I haven't noticed a major shift in the last 15 years. I have noticed that video game characters are at least covering up more than they used to. Mortal Kombat is one of the biggest, quote-unquote, offenders of this, in that they used to have really scantily clad women, and now they don't. They're covering up the women way more than they're covering up the men. Which isn't necessarily a problem. It's just strange. I guess we'll just keep going up. It looked like we were going to dip down. Okay, let's just try that. Try to go up. Is that where we want to go? I don't know. I'm confused by what the thing was telling me to do. Anyway, we'll just keep going this way. We'll figure it out. Yeah, so all the women in Mortal Kombat, especially like Melina and Katana and stuff, were always classically quite scantily clad, and now they aren't. I remember, to be super edgy in Mortal Kombat 9, Melina had like, I want to say a bloody handprint on one of her ass cheeks, in the like damaged model, or at least one of the concept arts. And Melina's like super covered up in the latest ones. I don't know, maybe she has an alternate skin that isn't covered up, like a classic one or something. But she's been super covered up from what I've seen in Mortal Kombat. I haven't played it though. But they were already starting to cover things up in Mortal Kombat 11, so which I did play. So I don't. Yeah, I haven't noticed the huge change in it. Yeah, we're dealing with madness now. I haven't noticed a big change in the standards as much as I've seen they're covering up women while they're not covering up men, which is interesting, I suppose.
This video with the intention of covering this whole topic in its totality, but I very quickly realized there was a lot to it, so I've broken it up. And consider this video number 1, with video number 2, and maybe more than that coming. I don't know, probably just 1 and 2. That's enough, I think. Now, about a month ago, the gamer published an
I don't know. I did not know this was a part 1 of 2. So I guess maybe we'll have to check out part 2. I don't. Maybe we'll explore and check out part 2 later. I'll see if I can find it, and maybe we'll cover it in a stream. But yeah, apparently this is happening so much that we need multiple videos about it. Alright, we're gonna try to get close so we can avoid the Eye of Sauron.
Article titled, "Stop using mods to make female characters prettier."
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with that. You should be able to do whatever the fuck you want with video games. You want to make a mod to make everybody naked and pretty? Fucking go for it. That's all you, my dude. My gals, or whoever wants to do it, you should totally be able to do it. So, I mean, I guess if that's your opinion that you don't want people to do it. God, I got wrecked it. But yeah, if you just don't want people to do it, yeah, I guess put out your fucking video or your thing talking about why you shouldn't do it, but I don't know, just do whatever you want, ultimately.
The article explains that after the release of the game Baldur's Gate 3, several mods were created to make female characters in the game more attractive. Specifically, Lae'zel, or however this is pronounced.
Yeah, so, interesting thing about her. I played a bit of Baldur's Gate 3, not a ton. But I played enough to encounter her. She's like a beast, kinda. She's a totally different race. Her race is like really aggressive and like warmongering and stuff. And she's not a human. So why in fuck would we start comparing her to humans and say, oh, she's not pretty enough? And like, she's not a human being. Why are we applying standard beauty to her? I mean, if you want to mod her to make her look like a human being, like, sure, I don't care. Like, again, do you. But it seems really, really strange to me that we would try to say, oh, this is one of the ugly characters that are being pushed. It's like, well, are orcs fucking ugly? I'm like, yeah, they are. Does anyone care? No. Like, I don't know. Like, Gimli in freaking Lord of the Rings was talking about how orc women have beards, even though I didn't watch all of Rings of Power because it was boring and shit. But if we had no, or like the, why can't I, oh my god, the dwarf women who were not very pretty and had beards and masculine features, like, what's wrong with that? It's just it's a completely different race. It's not a human being. Why not allow races that have different standards of beauty, or that just don't fucking look anything like people? Like, what's the issue? So that's a very strange one to me. Alright, we're gonna try to sneak up in here. So I totally disagree with, like, talking about her like she's any part of this. It doesn't make any sense. Also, maybe I'm weird. I don't think she looks bad. She's got a bit of a long face. I think she has like really sharp teeth or something. But I don't know. She's not ugly. So, okay, we're gonna wait. Is there a way to avoid it? Probably not. Okay, I'm about to get the madness. Oh shit, I'm actually dying. Yeah, fuck. I didn't notice the madness was that close and that I took that much damage. Madness is a bitch. But we'll get up there and handle it. Yeah, so just talking about this character at all in this conversation seems really strange to me. Yeah, I could, maybe I'm some kind of furry or scaly or something, but I don't think she's bad looking in any way.
Announced and Shadowheart. Lae'zel.
Shadowheart is definitely like conventionally attractive. So I'm curious. People are making her more attractive? I mean, yeah, I guess if she's just not your type, it doesn't work, but I don't know. She's a good-looking girl. Am I weird? Am I the one who's, thinking all these, am I miscalibrated? Have I lowered my standards too much? I think Shadowheart's very attractive. I don't know. Nice black-haired, pale skin. She's almost like a goth GF. So... she's not fat or anything, so I don't know. That's a strange one to be doing that to.
Lae'zel pronunciation. Help me, internet.
Another one. My friend's blood
did?
I didn't hear what that thing said.
Who writes these names, bro? The author.
It's an alien species. They're supposed to be different, right? I know it's just a meme that she's doing that, but it's like, it actually makes more sense that you wouldn't be able to pronounce it super easily because they would assumingly, well, not an alien species, but it's another species, non-human. We would assume that the species doesn't speak the same language we do, right? Although in the game, I suppose they do. I don't know if they're canonically speaking something, like in Star Wars, where they're all speaking Galactic Basic, and it's not actually English, but it's a damn movie, so we need to make it English. So I don't know if they're actually canonically speaking something else, but it would totally make sense that her name would be really strange and hard for us to pronounce. I don't see an issue there.
Makes the argument that if people need to make female.
Is that Shadowheart right there? See, that's what I'm saying. She looking good. If that's Shadowheart, I don't know if that's her. Her hair looks different there, or if that's a mod. I have no idea what's going on there. I haven't played enough Baldur's Gate, but that's a good-looking woman. And I don't remember Shadowheart actually looking that different from that. Her hair color was different, just similar eye makeup and stuff. Her body was still looking pretty good too. So I don't. If that's her, I mean, I would totally believe that that was just her. Okay, I need to just run in here. Grab these. You're afflicted with the madness. That's okay. That's okay. Get up. Get up. We're gonna run in there. We're gonna get up here. Yep. 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 We're doing it. We're getting rid of the madness.
Characters into the perfect woman, then they don't view these characters as a whole, but as commodities. The writer then goes on.
Yeah, it's interesting when we're talking about, like, oh, we're viewing characters as commodities. Like, well, they are... Where's the actual thing that's casting it? I'm just gonna kill everything here. Did it stop? I think it stopped. Yes, it did. Yay, no more madness. We've escaped the madness. It's interesting to talk about, like, treating fictional characters as humans. Because they are almost definitionally commodities, right? Like, they are created entirely for our, I'll say entertainment, because it could be, like, it's not necessarily fun or enjoyment. They're at least created to capture us, right? So, yeah, I don't know that it makes sense to, like, complain about, like, the commodification of them. Like, they're literally not human beings. They're literally not people in any sense of the word. They're not a living thing. I get why you might be concerned if you're saying, like, oh, they only make women super sexy and, like, never treat them as people in media. I would understand that. But, like, like an individual instance of it is not necessarily bad because they are made for our entertainment. So there's nothing wrong with making a woman who's quite sexy, and that's kind of what she's there for. Like, I don't see an issue with that. It's just for our entertainment. The issue comes when that's the only option is to do that. So if, like, some motherfuckers are just out there fucking modding, like, you're... Go do you, dude. If that's the entertainment you want in a moment, fucking go for it. That's cool. I really... Yeah, I don't get it. So if they want to fucking make Shadowheart, my girl Shadowheart, I think that's who I was planning on romancing when I was playing it, but I didn't finish it. If they want to make her hot, then... hotter... then go for it. Yep, got your turn. Yeah, the light of the Iron Throne. You can see in the distance. Increase your focus stat with equipment to use Rune Arc and God's turn to make madness build up slower. You want to put an end to madness. 6 to the west as you approach. Slope. And jump into the Frenzied Flaming Tower and defeat the rats and villagers within. Did it. Okay. Unlocking nearby Site of Grace. Frenzied Flame Village outskirts. Alright. We're going to find a Site of Grace nearby. Let's see what we can do.
On to say that if female characters need to meet impossible beauty standards in order for players to connect with them, then their value is only skin deep.
I don't know that just because you're modding something, that means you're unable to connect with them unless they're really hot. That seems like... yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't know, I think the madness respawns. In case it does, I'm going to just tap this and not rest at it. Is this the one we were looking for? Frenzied Flame Village. Yep, we got it. Okay. It's set south into the Frenzied Flame Village. Okay, so we're going here? Maybe here. I don't know. We're figuring it out. Oh, that's probably that, right? Yeah, so it just doesn't make... I don't think that just because they want to look at hot women, that's the only way they can connect with them. I think they're just like, ah, fuck it. I like looking at hot women. Maybe this is a good character, but I want to make them hotter. So, I don't know. Just, it seems like a strange criticism that you're assuming why they want to make them hot.
Funnily enough, we've actually seen a ton of criticism around the appearances of several female protagonists, not only in the last number of years, but also in the last several months. Some notable examples are Aloy from Horizon
classic Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn.
Forbidden West, Mortal Kombat's Tanya, and Fable's new lead heroine.
Yeah, Fable's lead hero. I definitely seen some stuff around Aloy, which was interesting. It's just, I don't know, she's got like a rounder face, which, you know, happens in women. Women are capable of having rounder faces, even when they're reasonably fit. They can have rounder faces. Happens in men, happens in women. It's okay. We can have a female protagonist that has maybe a rounder face. Everyone's gonna be okay. We're not gonna die. Yeah, but there was definitely a fervor around that.
His name, I don't know, because although I looked on the internet didn't tell me, and then I just got sick of looking for it, and now we're gonna call her Mrs. Magoo. Even if you do a very...
Mrs. Magoo. Yeah, her. That was an interesting one. I think a lot of it is just the faces she's making. She's making some weird, like, kind of faces. So I think maybe she's just, like, better looking. Like, also, I don't know. Butter faces exist, man. There are women out there who just aren't... who maybe have everything else going on, but their face is just not that great. There's men like that, too. It's just people come in all different shapes and sizes. So it's gonna be okay to have a different shape, size, and look. I don't even think she's that bad looking. She's got some messed up teeth, but she's English, so she's gotta have messed up teeth. The damn Brit bongers don't know what dental care or orthodontistry is. As we learned from Austin Powers. The educational film Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. I think, yeah, like, I don't... She's not someone... You could easily see that woman existing. So I don't know why there's such a fervor over her being in a game. The idea that it's just like, oh, you're trying to uglify women, doesn't that mean we just had a bunch of super fucking pretty women in games, and now they're putting people who are a little bit less pretty by your standards? Doesn't that just mean you have so many fucking games that have pretty women in it? It's like, isn't that essentially what you're complaining about? It's just like, I'm sorry, I want every one of them to be pretty. Like, yeah, it's fine to want them to be pretty. That's totally fine. But, like, if you just have a game where you don't find a particular person attractive, like, that's okay. Like, why... You don't need everything. If it bothers you that much, just don't play it. It's whatever. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like some kind of woke thing or something. It seems like it's just, you know, that kind of woman can exist. So they made one.
A basic online search about this topic, you will find countless articles and forums discussing why female characters are getting progressively uglier and uglier.
I don't know if they're getting... Well... If they are, I would say it's probably because there's just so many, like, super fucking pretty ones, and now people are just like, hey, we're gonna make some regular looking ones. Like, none of the women pictured are ugly. At least not to me. Maybe they're not super hot, they're not supermodel hot or something, but none of them are ugly. The Fable girl's got some busted teeth, but, you know, it's okay. Just tell her not to smile. It'll be all right. But seriously, like, I don't know. Like, they're not. None of them are ugly to me. So I don't get that. But I don't. If beauty standards are going down, it doesn't seem like we're just like, no. First of all, none of these women are. I didn't hear anybody claiming that they're like super hot and you need to find them hot or else you're like a bigot or something. I never saw anything like that, so I don't know what. If people are trying to claim there's some ideology behind this, I don't see how. I didn't see the people saying you need to do it. There might be some people out there being, like, some non-game developers out there just being like, hey, man, you should appreciate this. I don't know. It just seems like a weird criticism.
People are apparently not a fan of this at all. What I think is interesting is that the deliberate
All right, let me just make sure. And set into, yep, pick up Frenzy Cookbook, Shabiri's Woe Talisman. Press on west up the slopes and defeat the Teardrop Scallop for an, okay. West up the slopes. So that was that this? I do hear, oh, it's Brad. Okay, so it seems like it would be up here. Oh, there's the Teardrop Scarab. Okay, we're going up there.
Sexualization of female characters in video games has been happening already for some time. Over the years, more and more criticism has been thrown at video game creators, with particular groups demanding women be treated less like fun dolls and more like actual people.
Yeah, I don't think it's specifically an issue for an individual game to treat any character like a fun doll. Man, woman, genderless alien, whatever, I don't give a shit. If that's the only thing available, it's a bit of a concern. But I would definitely not say that that's the only thing available. So, yeah. If they were just saying, like, hey, like, the ratio seems to be kind of out of whack, then I think that's a fine criticism. I don't know that it's... I'd have to think about it a little bit to see if I'd actually think it's accurate. But it's fine if you just like, hey, I want this ratio. The ratio seems to be here. If you say nothing should exist like this, then I think that's a insane criticism. Like, why would you want to stifle people's creativity and get rid of some enjoyment? I don't really get that. Like, I don't know. It's okay to just be happy to look at a fucking sexy person. That's okay. If you just want to look at sexy women, you're just in the mood looking at sexy women, sexy men, sexy aliens, sexy non-binary people, sexy anything. If you just want to look at sexy people, that's okay. And it's totally fine to make art and just be like, hey, I made this person sexy because sexy is cool and I wanted to look at sexy women. Cool. Great. Good on you. But if there's nothing to the contrary, then I see that being a problem, yeah.
There's been some success with that, to be completely honest, but it seems like in this quest to undo the hypersexualization in video games, devs have taken things way too far in the opposite direction.
I don't know if that's true. So Mortal Kombat, I think, is a good example of them really toning it down. They're showing Mortal Kombat here, which is good, because I think that's a great example. So Mortal Kombat's a good example, but if you look at the other major fighting franchise that just had a game come out, Street Fighter 6, we know that Street Fighter 6 has, like, really scantily clad women. Even the big one, Marisa, she's a big hulking woman who beats the shit out of people. She's not a bad-looking woman. She's real muscular and tall, but that's, I don't know, it's unrealistic, I guess. It's an unrealistic thing for a man to look like that, let alone a woman. But she has a skin. What her alternate costume has, it's got like a kind of a blazer on, and she's wearing almost nothing underneath it. So you see all kind of like cleavage and stuff hanging out. So she's not afraid to show off some of her goods. Her actual costume does show her body a bit, but it's mostly muscles. It doesn't really show off any of her naughty bits, I suppose. But even she's super sexy, and if you're into that, like, they're not, her face, she's got makeup on and stuff, she clearly has, like, eyeliner, she's trying to, her face is not bad at all, I think her face is pretty good looking. She's just a big hulking woman, so if you're not into that, then fine. But even her, the big hulking woman, they show in, like, some, maybe not scantily clad, but they're not afraid to show it off a little bit. Cammy is as sexy as she's ever been. They still show up on her ass shots. Her main costume is not as... It doesn't show as much skin as the first one, or the OG one does. But... Oh shit, this is a... Okay, I've already been here. I shouldn't have fallen down here. I did this for no reason. Yo, yeah, that's that. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Can I? Doesn't seem like I can easily go up around. If not, then I may fast travel. But anyway, Cammy, yeah, her alternate outfit is her old school one, so you can see all the ass of Cammy that you want to see. There's also some art in there that's pretty fucking nuts. There's one of her doing like the splits or something, and it's just full-on voluptuous ass. And I'm all there for it. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's what that is. So Cammy's still super. Yuri is like basically just wearing a vest that basically only covers her nipples. So she's still super sexy. I don't remember other. Chun-Li looks pretty much the same. She's still got them thick thighs, and she's still pretty. Although Cammy's face is like, I thought her face looks really strange in the latest one. I've tried to look at old pictures to see if she always had that like really straight brow. But I don't think that's anybody trying to make her ugly. She just looks a little, I don't know, looks a little odd to me. There's sexy men in it. Zangief is still fucking almost fully nude, and everybody likes a little beefcake Zangief. So yeah, so we have a direct point counterpoint in Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat. I would agree it's happening to Mortal Kombat, but it's not happening to all games. Raise the arms. Can I not? Isn't this normally a thing that points at stuff? Is it not pointing at it this time? Anyway, you'll get invaded by... Okay. So, Teardrop Scare, Frenzy Burst, and head further northwest. Okay, so I didn't actually... Or did I? That's that thing, right? Yeah. That's probably it? I'm not really sure. We don't need that anymore. Yeah. But if we were going... Since we kind of went off track, let's just retrace our steps to make sure we're going the right way. Yes.
To the point where people are beginning to think that female characters are being made deliberately uglier to not only appeal to a wider audience, but also just generally appear more realistic.
Appealing to a wider audience is absolutely, like... It's not always good, because you might just want to make a niche thing that's for a niche or whatever. But, like, there's nothing wrong with appealing to a wider audience. If these women aren't playing Mortal Kombat games because they just feel like every woman is super sexualized. By the way, not every woman in Mortal Kombat always felt like they were super sexualized. Most of them did, but not all of them. I'm struggling to come up with an example, but I know there's examples of women that are like fully clothed in Mortal Kombat. Anyway, so yeah, they said northwest toward the church. If their goal is... There it is. That's what we're looking for. Okay, got it. If their goal is to get more women to play these games, and women are saying that they don't want the scantily clad women, then sure. That's fine. I know plenty of women who really like sexy women in games. I knew women who really appreciated Bayonetta because she was super hot. So, yeah, I don't know. Ivy from Soul Calibur was popular with some of the women that I knew too, because she just showed she's not afraid to flaunt it. That's another game. I'm pretty sure Ivy is still... Soul Calibur hasn't come out with a new game since 2018 and 2019, whenever 6 came out. But that's one that's very obviously not afraid to have sexy women. Taki and Ivy still look sexy as ever. Okay, we've got a fingerprint Vike. Let's see if we can beat him. I really thought you were just gonna charge at me, and you didn't. Bitch. Oh, he's got the madness too? That's lame. Alright, yep. That's gonna wreck me, isn't it? Yeah, it actually passed me. Oh no, you bitch! You don't get to do that. Haha! Better than bike. But yeah, like, trying to expand your audience seems like it's totally fine to me. I don't see an issue there. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. Ultimately, it just comes down to, like, what do the devs want to do? If they want to have scantily clad women, fucking awesome. Do it. If you want to have women who cover everything up, great. Sure. I don't care. If you don't... If you're upset that the latest Mortal Kombat's, excuse me, don't have scantily clad women anymore, don't buy it. It's okay. You don't have to buy everything. It's a little bit disappointing if you really like Mortal Kombat, and that's a thing, but, like, I don't know. It's gonna be okay. Alright, let's check things out here. Finger Maiden. Okay, Finger Maiden set. Same body, you'll get an armor set from Lord of Blood's favor. Oh yeah, we can dye the Maiden's blood. Yeah. Whenever next convenient, you can return the Vere to exhaust its dialogue, receive Bloody Finger and a Pure Blood Knight's Medal. Don't use this item, place it in something. Yeah, okay, got it. Alright, we're gonna pick this up. Sacred Tear. Cool. Dope. Activate this. And let's get moving.
And as a gamer myself, I find all of this very interesting. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The uglification of female characters in video games, and why this might be happening. And obviously, all of my normal disclaimers here, this video is by no means exhaustive. This will be covering a series of my personal...
I fucking hate these disclaimers on videos. They're just like, oh, this is my personal opinion, this is not fully exhaustive. It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, we could just take it the way it is. Does this really prevent people from leaving shitty comments? First of all, I don't know. Just ignore the fucking shitty comments. I'm nobody, so maybe it's tougher when you're way higher, way more popular like she is. She's got nearly 1 million subscribers. So, she probably deals with way more shit than I do. But, like, I don't know. The fucking disclaimers. Just like, oh, you missed this point. Like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I'm just fucking talking. Stop. I'm just sick of the disclaimers. Like, this is just my opinion. Fucking I Hate Everything does this really bad. He adds that huge warning with the blaring siren or whatever. Saying, like, this is just my opinion. Fucking leave me alone or whatever. And just like, no. First of all, if your opinion is shit, you should be criticized for it. You have a shitty opinion. If your opinion is good, then good. If it's not a fully exhaustive thing, I mean, yeah, sure, I guess make it clear. Just like, hey, I'm just speaking off the cuff here, no big deal. But, I don't know, it seems weird. Okay, we're talking to... Var? Where was he? He was... somewhere around here, right? Yes, there we go. Yeah, just sick of the disclaimers. Just fucking have your opinion and own it.
Personal opinions and theories about the topic, but if you want more information, there is a plethora of YouTube videos and articles and commentary and all sorts of things about this very topic that you can go and look at whenever you want. Now, with all of that being said, you know what isn't ugly? You quitting your bad habit, which is why today...
Oh, I got a nice pause on that face. Thank you. Yeah, let's see. What bad habits... Oh my god, I did not know these fucking plants were here. I just raffle stomped myself right into those. Okay, what are my bad habits? Let's go over my bad habits. Mostly eating garbage. That's like one of my worst habits. And not going outside enough. But yeah, I would say, yeah, that's not... If you got a bad habit, yeah, try to kick it. Maybe it'll make you even prettier, depending on the habit. That's true. Oh, this thing's still around? Okay, let's kill it again. Fuck it. Oh, you backing up. Fight me like a man. Oh, he countered the shit out of me! I was not expecting that. I didn't know he could. Oh my god. Oh, just got absolutely fucking crushed by that. There you go. Do you see how just fucking bad I am in this game? God.
Today's video is sponsored by Foom. Maintaining your bad habit can often be expensive.
Especially right now as we're living through mass inflation. Please, spare some change.
Okay, sure.
Not to mention, breaking that bad habit is hard.
And at this point, you're tired of hearing everyone's annoying, unsolicited advice.
Yes, I'm dressed up as a cow. And no, I don't understand how the peanut butter's going to help.
Oh, good heavens. clench your teeth.
Okay. Yeah, I guess the joke there is that somebody told them to break their bad habit, they gotta do cow peanut butter related things.
Never forget.
Okay, sure. That's funny.
But what if I told you it doesn't have to be miserable, weird, and expensive? Because now you have Foom.
Foom is
Now
this
I have
nifty little
Foom.
device that serves as an alternative to any hand-to-mouth habit.
Foom is
Okay, so this is only hand-to-mouth habits? This is like smoking? Interesting.
Right, my lad?
Or I guess eating. This thing can help with eating? I'm gonna tell you, this already sounds like bullshit. But, you know, maybe, I'm not a scientist, maybe it's the fucking best thing that ever happened. Yeah, we've got that. Frenzy Flame Village outskirts site of Grace. Travel further east from it. Alright, let's go.
Not a vape, so instead of heating up harmful chemicals for you to inhale, it uses flavored air. It also comes with an adjustable
so
airflow dial.
This is basically, this would just be for smokers, I would think, right? Of course it doesn't kick a chemical habit, I doubt, or at least I doubt it does. But this would just be for smokers? God, we're learning so much today. Apparently you can kick habits just by inhaling air. Did you guys know that? This is definitely not snake oil, I promise.
And is designed with moving parts and magnets so that your fingers have something to do. Perfect for de-stress.
Okay, so it's like a fidget cube mixed with a vape that isn't a vape. Sure. That'll definitely... Yeah, I'm critically addicted to crack. This will definitely fucking help. Absolutely. No way it wouldn't.
Stressing while you break your bad habit. And remember that flavored air I mentioned? Well, Foom has a range of flavors for you to try, including 3 new ones.
Do you have one that tastes like crack? Because that's the bad habit I have. And I enjoy the taste of it. This guy's a little antsy. Sorry, I'm unable to unpause while I'm fighting this guy. Because he's getting a little wild. Got him.
Ones. Orange vanilla, raspberry lemon, and sparkling grapefruit.
Ooh.
This one's yummy. You just pop your
I
preferred
agree, though,
core
probably.
in and
I fucking hate... I hate orange vanilla. It's so disgusting. I don't know why anybody likes it. Yeah. Glintstone Troll, leading to the corridor. Equip the Glintstone Helm and stand in front of the seal and perform the Glintstone Crown Helm. Okay. So we're gonna have to go up here. Do I have a Glintstone Crown Helm? I don't even know if I do. Glintstone Crown Helm. Equip any Glintstone Crown Helm. Okay, so I can just equip this. There you go. We gotta perform some kind of thing in front of this. Converted Fringe Tower. Stand in front of the seal and perform the erudition gesture. I forget how to even fucking do gestures. I always forget. Finger snap, erudition. Let's see, let's find erudition. Well, how do I equip it? Switch to erudition. While I'm doing this, let's listen to her talk.
you're ready to go. So if you too want a yummy way of breaking your bad habit, then click the link in the description or go to tryfoom.com/Sydney or scan the QR.
Yeah, this just sounds like fucking snake oil, to be completely honest with you. The seal on the rise is open. Hoo-ha! We did a thing. Hoo-ha-ha. It seems like fucking snake oil, so yeah, hawk your snake oil, whatever.
QR code on screen. And don't forget to use code Sydney for 10% off when you try a journey pack.
10% off some bullshit. Yay, let's fucking take it.
In 2019, a woman called Jacqueline Pavlat gave a TED Talk titled, "Where Are Her Clothes?" An analysis of women in video games. During her discussion,
Yeah, I wonder... whenever people like talk about stuff like this, I wonder if they also take into account like... Oh shit, hello. Is this thing just evil? You're gonna hurt me? I suppose I'm supposed to kill it probably, right? I'll kill it. But I wonder if anybody actually gives a shit about the men who have the same thing. Like in Marvel movies, half-naked men are all over the fucking place. They actually happen a good bit in video games too. Like Street Fighter, I think, is a great example. And Mortal Kombat is an even better example now because they're clothing other women while keeping the men as sexy as they have always been. So yeah, so when you do something like this, yeah, I mean, it's fine to do this analysis, but does anyone actually give a shit about the men? People laugh at naked men all the fucking time. Like, there's a really disgusting thing in Thor: Love and Thunder where everyone points and gawks at Thor's naked body and makes fun of his tattoos and talks about the size of his dick and stuff. Like, it's like everyone. It's in front of, like, gods and shit. So it's like, there's a hypocrisy there that's pretty weird. So I mean, it's fine if you want to do this, but let's not act like it only happens. I'm not saying that that's what this person did, but let's just not act like it's only that one way. All right, so we're gonna you're playing glimpse on hell. Yep. Make your way up to the top of the tower. Loot Canada. Yep. Go back down the tower and move over to the cliff nearby west of here. All right, so we're gonna go over about. That's actually east. Oh, okay. I've already done that. Okay, so there's something I can do at the round table hold. So let's go talk to Rogier at the round table hold. So that's the dialogue, relay, and dialogue again. Gonna speak to Fia. She's still a sacrificial twig. All right, cool.
Pavlat tried to illustrate her primary argument, that women in video games are scantily clad for no good reason.
Well, there is a very good reason. It's because people like to see scantily clad women. And that's totally fine. I don't see why that would be an issue. You can see whatever the hell you want to see. I'm sorry that you don't like it, but I don't know. Scantily clad men, scantily clad women. If people want to see it, we should be able to make it. So I don't really... Okay, why the fuck? Maybe I gotta reload again. I'll try it. Yeah, I don't know. It's totally fine to see scantily clad women in games. The idea that there's no good reason... Or you don't think entertainment is a good reason? Is that kind of the idea? I don't know about that one. But yeah, there's obviously a good reason why it happens. It's because people fucking want it. Okay, what did I do wrong here? Go back down the tower and move out of the thing. Black knife print. To get the black knife. Maybe I don't have that.
Their armor in battle games is lacking compared to their male counterparts, and developers...
I would agree that the armor is a bit strange. I don't know where the fuck I would look for this. Maybe... key items, probably? Yeah, I don't know about the armor thing. There is a bit of a weird thing where it's like, oh, women just are completely, like, half naked in armor. When you talk about magical armor, it's probably fine, right? Because, like, you don't necessarily have to have your stomach covered to have, like, some super powerful magical piece of armor that helps you. But, yeah, if you're, like, talking about, like, a warrior, and, like, the woman has, like, her whole midriff showing and her boob showing and everything, it's just, like, yeah, that doesn't actually make any sense, for the purpose of the garment. Okay, I guess I just didn't do this right. You get the black knife print. Fight the black knife ascendant. Okay, maybe I just fucking didn't do it. We're gonna go double check. So that was up here. Yeah, that's still, I mean... I think Shadowversity did a video on this, and he basically said, like, the good reason for this. First of all, if you're talking about, like, people were talking about the boob armor, quote unquote, in Mandalorian, where it's just like, no, it's like a form-fitting thing. Of course, like, you don't, if you can make it form-fitting, you definitely want to do that. Yeah, I fucking looted this shit in here. I don't know what the hell. Why am I missing the item? Or why does Rogier not want to talk to me? Maybe I missed something with his thing? I'm not sure. But yeah, so, like, if it's not exposing anything that's stupid, form-fitting armor absolutely makes sense. Like, boob armor makes sense. But, like, exposing yourself doesn't make sense for armor. Yeah.
should be trying to make these female characters more realistic and relatable. Only a month earlier, a similar TED Talk had been given about the voices of
I feel
female.
like I gotta be missing something. They're just talking about fight the Black Knight. Give this item to Rogier at the round table hold to exhaust his dialogue. Reload the area and exhaust his dialogue again. And speak to Fia and shoot a sacrificial tweak. Maybe I don't know. I'm just gonna move on because clearly I'm getting stuck on this. Alright, if for any reason you skipped a step earlier, travel back to the main academy gate side of Grace. Alright, let's do that.
Female characters in video games. The speaker said that she had studied several popular game franchises and determined that the vocalizations of female characters were limited to 3 primary tropes. The victim,
Sure.
where women cry out in pain or sadness.
Well, yeah, that's not a... Lara Croft is not a victim. I know that... I think that scene is fucking insane. She should have been dying. But Lara Croft is absolutely not a victim, and I don't think... If, I know this is not part of the TED Talk, but if this is what Sydney is trying to indicate here, is that she's some kind of victim narrative. She fucking gets stabbed and just starts murdering people while she's, like, bleeding out. It doesn't even make any sense. So that's definitely not a victim. Okay, sorry, I just... For any reason, travel back to the main academy gate side of Grace. Head north past the seal. Okay. And I'm supposed to... You'll find an invasion sign from Yura asking for assistance. Okay. Oh, that's it. Cool.
The sexy witch who will kick your butt, and the girly girl who
Sexy witch that will kick your butt. I mean, yeah, there's probably a lot of those, right?
is forced to fight. All of this, she concludes, is not very inspiring.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know when this thing came out, but if Buddyfinger, okay, we're gonna run in there and kill this stuff. I don't know when this came out, but there's plenty of women who aren't that. I don't think Ellie in The Last of Us or The Last of Us 2 fits that. I don't think Lara Croft definitely doesn't fit any of those. She's definitely not any kind of victim, so I don't understand that. Right, I'm dying. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by this fight. Yeah, we got him. We the best. He's dead. He's dead. You got him. Yeah, I don't think Lara Croft fits that. Aloy doesn't fit that. All the women that they showed at the beginning or that don't fit that at all. So I don't know where she did this analysis, but it seems a little bit strange to me. Alright. Defeat target that exhausts Yura's dialogue when you return to your world. Where would Yura be? Oh, there he is. Alright, cool.
Oh, that bloody thing. Here's a token of...
Yeah, you got smithing stones.
I'm dying to see. Yeah. She is the dead, but in spite if she there is no shit.
And just like Pavlat in her TED Talk, makes the argument that these tropes are not great for female representation.
I would agree that just those aren't great for female representation, but we have plenty of examples that go against it. So I don't... It's fine to have, like, a tropey... Not every character has to be, like, fully fleshed out to the nth degree. So I don't know... I don't think that makes a ton of sense. Alright, defeat the target. Go back to examine the city you ran past. It'll teleport you to the East Lucaria Gate side of Grace. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the tropes aren't good representation, but we have good representation, so I don't see what the issue is.
Some exceptions. These are the main options. And they're, once again, not very inspiring.
Some exceptions, these are the main options. I might be able to believe that if you actually, like, demonstrate it, if you have some kind of data on that, if you can just list... Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna doubt that there's that much data on this. That would be my main thing. After you rest at a Bach will appear. We'll hold off giving him the gold soul and gold titan tools so you reach his final location. Sure his quest doesn't inadvertently end. There's also a dialogue, then you can speak to Melina at the side of Grace, head north. Bellum Church, where you find a sacred tear. Okay, so we're gonna head north. I guess it's like there. Let us go further north.
We have weakness, we have horror, we have sexuality. And that's it. Those are the options for being a...
What about all the strong women? There's, first of all, I know Mortal Kombat women don't fit in this. They're just strong fucking women. What about, like, the good, like, Katana is, like, good. So, of course, she doesn't fit in this. I guess Ivy's kind of evil. But if you're talking about, like, why can I not think of the fucking... The woman, the, like, cop woman in Mortal Kombat. Why can I not think of her fucking name? But yeah, Cammy doesn't fit that in Street Fighter. Chun-Li doesn't fit that in Street Fighter. You just have to look at fighting games to find, like, a dozen counterexamples to this. And then you look at any game that has a main character as a protagonist or as, like, a side character. Ellie doesn't fit that in either of the Last of Us games. Abby definitely doesn't fit that in The Last of Us Part 2. I can't remember her name, but the girl in BioShock Infinite doesn't fit that trope, so I don't... Yeah, I would need to see actual proof of this. I feel like I can come up with too many counterexamples for you to say, yeah, these are the only ones. Also, like, Bayonetta doesn't fit that. She's a literal witch, but she's not, like, evil or anything, so she doesn't fit the witch trope. So I don't know where the... Lara Croft doesn't fit this. Aloy doesn't fit this. I don't know. Like, I might agree that we should try to increase the number of female protagonists in games, but I haven't leveled up in a while because I'm but yeah, I just... Oh shit, there's gonna be 2 of them? I really don't want to deal with 2 of them. Actually, I might just run from this so I can level up and then fight them again. But yeah, I would definitely need some fucking data on this. This seems like a wild claim to make with so many counterexamples.
A female character. Representation matters.
Representation absolutely does matter, but that's why we have representation for what you're looking for.
We've heard this a lot, but I'm going to repeat it again. Representation matters. To see
Sure. Yeah.
and to hear ourselves on screen humanizes us to ourselves.
Yeah, that's fine, but not every single character needs to be the most representative, humanizing character in the entire world. We can have characters that are just eye candy or are shallow. Like, that's totally fine. In fact, it's almost... well, maybe not eye candy is necessary, but shallow is definitely necessary. You can't write a deep character for every single character in each story. It's just not possible. I mean, you could try, but there's always going to be side characters that are... Unless you have, like, a character that has very few things, there's always going to be side characters that are not fleshed out fully. That's like a necessity of time. Like, we just don't have the time to do this. So getting mad at the trope existing doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And you need to really, really prove that this is, like, a huge problem. You need to provide me with a lot of examples and, like, prove that my counterexamples are bad in order to say that this is some problem that needs fixing. Alright, just focusing on this guy real quick. Why didn't I... God damn it. Doing all the wrong things. Alright, come on, bro. Whoop. I'm expecting to throw that magical spear at me. There you go. We did it. Alright, there's another one of these fucks right there. I'm gonna take him out.
And it humanizes us to others.
Funnily enough, these arguments go all the way back to 1996, when the action...
I would say that they probably go back farther than that. Maybe not in video games, because video games haven't... They started being really popular in the 90s. Well, actually, I guess not popular in the 90s, because Atari and arcades are really popular. But it feels like video games really exploded in the 90s. But anyway, so yeah, so... yeah, so I would guess that these arguments go way further. Representation has been, like, an issue. That's why we had, like, the... I guess they're called... Are they called blaxploitation films? But we've had, like, different groups of people come and make their own movies just so that they can have the representation that they were missing. So those arguments go back farther than the 90s, I would say. But fair enough, I guess.
Adventure game Tomb Raider first hit shelves around the world.
Yeah, I mean, Tomb Raider would have been a big one. But also, she is super sexy, and they made her maybe a little bit less, like, showing off her sexiness, but she is still fucking gorgeous. Anyone who thinks Lara Croft isn't sexy anymore is insane. Like, yeah, maybe she's not wearing the booty shorts, but she's still super hot. You don't have to be wearing booty shorts to be obviously incredibly hot. Yeah. But I think she's actually an example of an incredibly good representation for women. I haven't played all the latest games. I played just the first one. Just the first, like, Tomb Raider, like, reboot. And I haven't been deep into Tomb Raider. But I also know... I think I probably know more women than men who like Tomb Raider. And one of the reasons they like it is because Lara Croft is fucking hot. Yeah, so... Is it okay to represent women who want to see hot women? Isn't that reasonable? Because that seems like... I don't have data on this, but that actually does seem like a pretty big swath of women. It sounds like Sydney wants this, so... Should Sydney not have representation? I think she should.
It featured gun-wielding protagonist Lara Croft.
Okay, let me just double check. Yeah, to find the Bellum Church. It's probably this, right? Yeah, this looks like a church. Okay, cool. Let's get inside. Get inside the church.
A female archaeologist tasked with fighting enemies and...
Also, yeah, Lara Croft is like fucking super smart. She's really good at her job and knows a lot. And really intelligent, really powerful woman. So she may even be, I wouldn't say Mary Sue, but she's like a little bit unrealistic in that it's like, because like, yeah, she has reasons for why she's like this, but she's just like, damn, like, I'm never going to be that kind of good. I'm not going to be that hot and smart and successful and powerful and all that. It's never going to happen to me. Which is fine. We're going to have characters that are like that. It's fine to have unrealistically achievable characters. Like, I'm never going to be as cool and fun and smart as Tony Stark. So, it's totally fine to have these. But... yeah, it's just... yeah, I think she's a totally great example.
Solving puzzles in her quest to find a precious artifact. The game was a huge success.
Okay, after this, East Leonier Lakeshore site of Grace. Is that this? Yes. Okay, so we're gonna go here. Yeah, cool. No, that...
marking Lara Croft as one of the most recognizable characters in the gaming world. It also sparked the
yeah, Lara Croft is also fucking iconic, and part of that is because she's fucking hot. You don't have to be super hot to be iconic. Princess Peach is a good-looking girl, I guess. She's a little cartoony, but she was never sexualized, and she's fucking iconic. And she's the damsel in distress until, like, I don't know, which Mario... was it Mario 3? I don't know, I'm not super up on my Mario lore. But she started being a character in one of them. I know she was a character in one of the remakes, and she's a character that you can play in the 3D Land and 3D World games. So she started off as a damsel in distress, super iconic, beats the shit out of people in Smash Brothers, although I never used her much. So yeah, she's not a damsel in distress. Samus, another fucking great example. What's so awesome about Samus is they didn't even show that she was a fucking woman until the end of the game. So she's such a powerful character that maybe it speaks a little bit about, like, who we are as a society. But she was totally, like, as far as everybody knew, she was a man. And now, Samus, I think, is actually awesome in this way. She has her really fucking sexy version and her I'm gonna kick the shit out of you version. She can kick the shit out of you with her sexy version too. But it's fun that they added the Zero suit to be like, nope, Samus is very feminine. Like, look at this skin tight suit she's got. She can be very feminine and kick your ass without the suit. But she can also be like, hey, I'm a big fucking mech suit Iron Man type character and kick the shit out of you with this. And she's existed for fucking ever. So that's another great example. She doesn't talk much, but who cares? There are male protagonists. Master Chief doesn't talk much, so yeah, I don't think the I don't think there's an issue there. There's a pretty easy area to tackle even early on. However, it makes sense to visit now because the natural path. Maybe lose some allow you to upgrade a weapon. Head to the left from the site of grace and defeat many ants. Okay, so we're just going here, right? Follow the road. Yeah, and then we fight a golem. Okay, got it. Cool.
Beginning of the Tomb Raider franchise, giving us more games and films, and of course, plenty of arguing over Lara Croft's
Sorry, let me
overall
finish.
depiction and sexualization.
She doesn't seem sexualized at all in the latest games. I don't know how much. I'm not an OG Lara Croft or Tomb Raider fan. But was she actually like really sexualized in the other games, or was she just hot? Alright, let's get this guy out of here. Like, you can have a hot character that's not overly sexualized. Yeah, maybe I should read up on that so I can fight with people a little bit better. But I never got the impression that she was super sexualized. She was fucking good looking. Yeah, she got the booty shorts and she got big boobs or whatever, but it's fine. I did see the cringe shit of people comparing the newer models to her older ones, and she has smaller boobs. It's just like, dude, she's still super fucking hot. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But yeah. Alright, let's get in here. Go down the Ansel River Well. Use their attack will even early on. Makes sense of it now because of the natural path from the east. Loot several smithing stones here and upgrade your weapons. Yeah. Very good.
In the original game and those that came after. When Lara Croft first appeared on the scene, she was criticized for her impossibly tiny waist and
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty extreme example there. It's fine to have extreme examples in games. I don't see an issue with that. But that one is, like, absurd. We don't have to have characters. That's also clearly stylized. Like, that's obviously a fucking cartoon. So, like, I don't see a huge issue with having unrealistic style in a game or any media. It's totally fine. As long as you're not trying to be realistic, it's totally fine to be unrealistic. Like, I think it looks a little ridiculous, but like, yeah, it's fine. That's just the style of the thing. Sorry, there was somewhere I was gonna go, and I kind of forgot what it was. Did I do that one cave? I don't know if I did. Limgrave? Yes, I did. Okay, there was a cave over here that I didn't do, though. And I just kind of remembered it. I think it's up there. I'm gonna go do that one real quick. But yeah, as long as you're not trying to be realistic, I think it's totally fine to have a character that doesn't look like this. Or that doesn't look realistic. The newer games are trying to be realistic, so it would make sense that they just kind of give her more realistic proportions. Yeah, the OG one, like, if you want that style, go for it, my dude.
and large breasts. Some users actually created game patches made for the express purpose of removing her clothes.
Yeah, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. If you're into walking around naked while you're fighting people and exploring too, it's like, yeah, sure, totally fine. Do what you want to do. It's your games.
Past video games in the 1980s and early 90s were not advanced enough to really sexualize characters. Although female...
Yeah, that's, I think, one of the reasons that Samus isn't super obviously a woman right now. I mean, she's got womanly kind of shape, but it's not incredibly obvious that she's a woman. Especially when you were from, like, the side. But I think that's one of the main reasons that it wasn't obvious that Samus was a woman. They had to literally have her wear a bikini and show her long hair to make it obvious that she was a woman. Hey, look, I found a cave here. Yeah, so older games, it was definitely hard to sexualize them. I agree.
protagonists were uncommon, those that existed were fully clothed or wearing weird space armor.
Hey, look, it's Samus! It's so awesome how many times in these videos that I'm responding to, I make a point and then somebody's just like, hey, look at this. And I'm like, hey, we're on the same wavelength. We're simpatico. I'm with you, Sydney. I am with you right now.
Armor, I guess. But all of this changed with the advancement of graphics and technology. And after the popularity of 1996's Tomb Raider, despite the game's character model still being fairly primitive, there was concern that it would signal to developers that hypersexualized female characters were a way to bolster sales and make a mark on the industry.
Well, it's totally fine if that's a way to bolster sales. If that's what the market wants, why not fill the market demand? People clearly want sexy women, or just sexy characters in general. People clearly, even men like to see the fucking sexy man. Like, how many guys are fucking way into, like, Hercules, or, like, the fucking Predator films where Arnold's just, like, fucking buffed out and just roided out. So, I don't... People like to see pretty people. So, like, accusing it of being, like, oh, you're just doing this to boost sales is like, well, maybe. It could be my artistic vision, but even if I am doing it to boost sales, it's just like, why not fill a need that people have? I don't get why you wouldn't do that.
After all, the majority of gamers were and still are boys and men. And we know that all of you still ooga booga.
There is some data out there that like more women are gamers now, but I think that's mostly mobile games. So they wouldn't fit the common definition of gamer, I don't think. But also, like, if you look at like some of the popular games like Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact, there's plenty of sexy women in those. I don't know what the ratio of male to female is on those, but yeah, especially like in anime crowds, people seem to really like sexualize women there, even the women. So I don't see an issue.
At heart, even if some of you try to hide it.
That's a little sexist, Sydney. Claiming that I absolutely need to see sexualized women and I can't control it. That's mean. Cancel Sydney for being sexist against men. Cancel her. I'm calling for it. Oh god, am I dying? Not yet. Okay, let's wait for this. We're gonna run down there.
It's okay. Sorry.
I'm glad if you're gonna be sexist to me, you at least accept my faults. I appreciate that, Sydney. Alright. Can I go up here for anything fun? No. There's nothing fun up here. Cool. Alright. Concentrating a little bit on the fire. Still got me, god damn it.
Now, by the 2000s, the conversation surrounding the hypersexualization of female characters and whether or not they existed solely as a male fantasy became...
Yeah, so I would say Soem probably exists solely as a male fantasy, but just because you have a sexy... Oh my god. Okay, fuck me. Just because you have a sexy character doesn't mean that's the only reason they're sexy. Like, or that's the only reason the character exists. I think, Bayonetta is a good example of this. She's sexy because people like sexy, but, like, she's also sexy because that's just part of who she is. You know, it's like an important aspect of her character. She uses her sexuality, against men. Oh, most of the men in that fucking game are, like, stupid as shit and just fawn all over her. But I wouldn't say that the only reason any pretty characters exist is because men just absolutely want to see that. And so, like, well, not that. It's, they don't make them sexy entirely because men want to see it. That is not, like, the only reason a sexy character exists. They might do it because of that, but a character being a deep character and also being sexy isn't just, like, a cynical cash grab or something like that.
Became a widely debated issue in the gaming world. One that has seeming...
Well, good thing I just solved it. If you have this debate, just send them to what I just said. I kind of rambled a little bit, but I promise you it made sense. I just solved all of the debate there. Should I go down there for any reason? I can't. I don't know. We'll go down here first. See what's up.
Really come to a head today, as demonstrated by our aforementioned TED Talks. And it seems that, in an effort to correct the perceived objectification of female characters, the
Alright, I'll pause it for a second here. Yeah, it's interesting that this is such a big problem today when you can find so many examples of both sides of this. You can find examples of women being sexy just to be sexy and they're not real characters in games. You can find examples of women being deep characters but also being sexy. And you can find examples of women being good characters and not being sexy. So I don't think you see too many of the last one. People just generally like good-looking characters. Men, women, genderless aliens, non-binary, any fucking thing you identify as. People just like to see a good-looking version of that. So there's not too many of the bad character or non-deep character and also ugly. But it happens. Or just a really good character that's also not great looking. There's not too many of those. But there's not many men of that either. So, like, how many fucking Marvel characters are bad-looking guys? 0? Probably, right? Like, I don't know if I'd call any of them ugly. Like, who's the ugliest fucking Marvel superhero? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so it's interesting that we have more choice than ever, and the debate seems to be going on more than ever.
Pendulum has swung too far in the opposite direction.
I definitely wouldn't say it swung too far in the opposite direction. Like I was saying, I feel like we have plenty of examples of each. I actually just, yeah, I don't know.
Rather than simply toning down the sexualized nature of these characters, which has already been happening for the last number of years, some feel that Western developers and designers have gone the extra mile and deliberately made these characters progressively less and less attractive.
Yeah, they've made them progressively less and less attractive. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that argument holds water if we still have some really attractive ones. Because we've still got your fucking Animu games with really sexy women. We've still got your Street Fighters with really sexy, scantily clad women. Yeah, Mortal Kombat seems to be going a little bit away. I don't think Aloy was ever supposed to be super sexy, so if you say, like, oh, they changed her face a little bit, and it was just like, yeah, I don't know. Like, was she, like, incredibly hot in the first one? I don't know. You've got your non-sexualized characters that are pretty good looking. Like, Lara Croft is no longer sexualized, I don't think, but she's still incredibly hot. So, I don't know. Seems like we got a wide array of all of it.
I mean, obviously, attraction is subjective, but... So...
Yeah, that girl... I think it's mostly the teeth. And the face that she's making. But I'm sorry. There's just some English women who just have the teeth like that. I'm sorry. It's okay to have a woman like that in a video game. She looks a little weird, but it's fine. That actually wasn't even the fucking thing I was going for. I'm looking for that wolf thing. I think it's over there. But yeah, like, I don't know, it's fine. If you don't like it, don't look at it, I guess. But it's totally fine that she's there, you know? Still got plenty of sexy women to look at. There's probably gonna be other sexy women in that game. I would bet dollars to donuts that there's gonna be plenty of fucking sexy women to look at. I'm gonna be honest, I don't fucking know what dollars to donuts means. I've just heard people say it. So, is it like dollars to... like zeros? Is that it? Yeah, I have no idea what it fucking means. But I used it anyway, because I'm uneducated and stupid. I'm just here to be eye candy. Clearly. This is the cave I was looking for.
If this uglification, for lack of a better word, is happening deliberately, the next question is...
I want to know... I think the first question is this happening? I think... I'm trying to think of like, Fable wouldn't work because it's a brand new character, right? You could argue that it's happening with Mortal Kombat. I don't know if you can argue it with Aloy in Horizon. It doesn't seem like you could really argue that. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the first thing she needs to answer is whether or not it's even happening. She doesn't seem to answer that question at all, which is strange.
Is why. There's a lot of data and information and writings and opinions.
Okay, data, information. I would love to hear one. I would love to hear one. Please give me the data.
relating to the sexualization of female characters, but when it comes to this particular topic, what might be guiding game developers and graphic designers and so on and so forth, there's very little in the way of qualitative information.
Yeah, I mean, that's an issue, but I still haven't even learned that this is a problem. Having, like, 1 or 2 examples of it, while there's still examples of really fucking hot and sexualized women in games, that doesn't prove anything. Just because it happened once doesn't mean it's some kind of trend. I don't really understand what the fuck we're talking about here. So prove it's an issue, don't talk about the solutions until you actually prove there's an issue.
So in the interest of accuracy, I just want to make note of the fact that the majority of the things that I have to say in this video are my personal observations.
Yeah, it's fine. Again, I don't fucking care about your personal observations or whatever. Well, not that. I do care about your personal observations. But I can't stand the fucking constant qualifications everybody says. It's just like, this is just my opinion. Just look and take it as my opinion. Like, I know it's your opinion. You're stating it. I know it. I got it. Oh,
And theories. Nothing concrete, unfortunately.
yeah, there was nothing concrete in the fact that you said this problem exists. You've only shown, like, 4 examples of it existing, and I would argue at least 3 of them aren't actually examples of this. So, why talk about solutions when we haven't even talked about an actual existing problem? I don't know what the... Yeah, I don't get it. It's just having some sexy women and some non-sexy women a problem? Is that the problem? I don't know. That seems weird. Because it feels like you've pointed out that, like, yeah, we've got a couple of examples of non-sexy women, like, but didn't offer any counter to that. So I don't really get it.
Except my desire to see the resurrection of babe characters with amazing grip strength.
Well, there you go. I was talking about earlier, women seem to like sexy women in games too. So even though Sydney was incredibly sexist to me and all men earlier, she does admit that she indeed wants to see the sexy women too. So that's good. I appreciate that. I appreciate a woman who appreciates sexiness. As the Circus of Value in BioShock would say, I appreciate a girl who appreciates value. Alright, so we're starting here. We're gonna go down the Ansel River. We're gonna be fighting some fucking ants. It's gonna be great. Yeah, so, anyway, TLDR. I don't know why the fuck you're talking about solutions to a problem you haven't demonstrated existed. But, assuming it exists, let's see what we can come up with.
Not like that, you weirdos.
Now, first and foremost,
Not like that. You talking about that grip that really needed tough grip? That's what you're talking about? I don't know. That's nice. You know what? You can't grip it too hard. You're gonna rip it off.
I do think there is something to be said about the integration of more women in the gaming industry as both developers and designers. And
Okay. Well, that's good. It's probably good. As the meme goes, diversity is our strength. Fucking dying to these goddamn ants already. I got 2 of them, 1 hit. Yeah, we did it. Alright, cool. Yeah, there probably is. Especially because, as she's pointed out, women a lot of times their desires align with men. She likes to see good-looking women in video games, and so do most men. So, yeah, I think that makes sense. I don't even know if this is the way they wanted me to go in this thing, but that's the way I'm gonna fucking go.
to be clear, I do not bring this up to suggest that all women in these industries operate the same way or to tar them with the same brush, but what I'd like to do is hypothesize some of the psychology that might be driving some of these game developers.
I just don't... We haven't demonstrated that game developers are uglifying women. I really only feel like there's one good example of it, and that's Mortal Kombat. Like, what was the evidence that it happened to Aloy? She was never a super sexy character. She's not ugly, but she was never a super sexy character to begin with. So you'd be like, oh, they like rounded her face a little bit more. Like, I don't know, she's a bad looking character right now. So we're talking about psychology of game developers in a phenomenon that I don't know. We haven't done any effort to prove actually exists. I don't fucking get. What psychology? The psychology of what?
In 1989, about 30% of the video game industry was female, with the majority of those women holding low-ranking positions.
Yeah, this is an issue across all of software engineering. Well, depending on how you define issue. This is a phenomenon across all of software engineering. I actually work with a reasonably diverse set of people. Like, I think at one point my recent team was actually 50% women and 50% men, which is like unheard of. That doesn't happen very much. My previous team at Amazon was also like that, which was interesting. But at none of the other places that I work were there a lot of women. 50% is considered really high. I don't know what the actual ratio of men to women in software engineering in general is, but I know it's probably not. Well, it's not 1-to-1. I know that. It's probably, I don't know, 1-to-2 or something like that, with about 30%. It's probably close to what she was saying there for video game development. So yeah, so it's just an issue across all of software engineering, and probably engineering in general. I would guess that other engineering things have a little bit more women. Well, the sciences in general probably have a significantly better rate. I know the Scully effect was a thing. Probably didn't apply to video game developers and software engineers that much, but it definitely applied to other sciences. So yeah, I don't really remember where the fuck I was going with that, but you know, it's just it's a thing. There's less women in engineering jobs right now.
Only 3% were actual developers. Today,
only 3% were actual developers. Damn, okay, we got men, women, non-binary, gender fluid, genderqueer, two-spirited, gender. Okay, so this is I hope, share of respondents. So that's probably game developers, right? In 2021, 61% are men, 30% are women, and 8% are some other thing. Okay. That seems... I would think regular software engineering is probably a little bit better than this, but it seems about right from what I've experienced. My own personal, my lived experience.
this number has jumped to about 30% worldwide, with a further 8% saying they're non-binary or two-spirit or trans, which is honestly just like, case closed. This answers everything.
Yes, it's over. We solved it. We solved the gender bias in software engineering and gaming. Can one of y'all motherfuckers come down? Or do I gotta kill the fucking queen thing first? I'll kill the fucking queen. I'll do it right now. See, bitch? Alright, y'all coming now? Y'all coming? Come get me.
But the sex of developers alone does little to explain why they might be.
Wasn't that gender? Because I don't know if is non-binary a sex? Does that make any sense? I mean, I guess there is like a really, well, it wouldn't be 8%. There's a really low population of people who have like medical deformities and stuff like that, or like have two different sets of gonads or whatever, hermaphrodites, and I am not a fucking biologist, so I don't know any of the fucking terms for this shit. But there's people who are clearly in between sexes. They're intersex or something. But yeah, so just interesting that she said the sex there. Come on, it's a gender. Use the progressive terms. Come on, Sydney, I believe in you.
Be giving us unappealing female characters. After all, we have to assume that women would likely want to see other attractive women, right?
We don't have to assume that, but it does seem to be the pattern. I'm trying to think of what do I think. Most of the characters I look up to that are men are pretty attractive too. Like one of my favorite characters in films is Tony Stark. So, shit. I don't even know. I'm just fucking running around all over the goddamn place. I think there's a site of grace nearby, or maybe I can go up that thing there. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep exploring, kind of. But yeah, just judging by my own experience, I generally do tend to gravitate toward maybe not hot men, like crazy hot, but like, I generally prefer even my male characters to be pretty good looking. I could take an ugly dude. I mean, it's fine. But, especially in games, I generally don't... I make my characters try to look somewhat like me, just like a better looking version of me. I normally want the characters I play as to be good looking. I know many men who play hot females in games entirely so that because they're looking at them so much, and they're just like, yeah, I just want to look at butts and boobs and whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised if women are the same. The same way that I treat men in games, women are probably similar. They want the characters they play as to be good looking because they're looking at them all the fucking time. So it makes sense.
Wrong. Some women do not want that, and
What?
some men pretend not to want that. This is
Pretend not to want that. Bullshit. I want fat women. I'm against the grain on this. Ugly women in games only. Stop assuming about me. Rude.
why we can't have nice things.
It's worth remembering that we are all a product of our time. Female developers in the 80s and 90s were not only a completely different generation, being baby boomers and Gen Xers, but they also grew up largely with different technology and different messaging around attractiveness and beauty.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. Oh shit. Hello. You dead. Yeah, that's definitely true. There still seems to be like a heavy message. There's a lot more people with counter messaging on like beauty standards, but there still seems to be a lot in our society that's just like, here's the beauty standards. They have changed, but they're not drastically different. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by fucking fighting these clay men or whatever the fuck they are. Oop. Alright, we just killed a bunch of them. We're gods. Oh yeah, we're gods. Oh, we're gods. It's guards, but I felt like saying gods instead.
Games were so basic at the time that, like I mentioned, there really wasn't a lot of room to sexualize anything. There were
That's true. I don't know, Mario's pretty fucking sexy, right? I like the color red, therefore Mario was sexy. Prove me wrong, atheist. Got him.
some significant limitations on what could and couldn't be produced, and likely what people were prepared to produce. Today's developers are millennials and Gen Z. Generation
Yeah, there should be a lot of boomers still hanging around. They won't fucking retire and give us all their high-paying jobs. But I would assume like a lot of the old school devs are still doing it. Well, I wouldn't assume that. A lot of the old school devs are still doing it. And they're probably in the higher up positions, I would assume, because they've been doing it longer. I don't think there's too many millennials fucking running game dev companies. It happens, but it doesn't... I don't think it's a lot. Okay. I remember all this. I thought there was a site of grace that was closer by. Okay, this is over. Yeah, I remember all this. So let's go back and try to explore a little bit. Yeah, I would actually think that the people who have the most sway on how the game is made and what's in the game probably are more old school people.
who were exposed to the body shaming of the 2000s that deemed women like Jessica Simpson, Tyra Banks, and America Ferrera fat.
I completely missed that. Who the fuck said these people were fat? I totally missed this body shaming craze of calling these pretty women fat. Like, all the women you were just talking about were very pretty. Jessica Simpson, hot as shit. At least she was. I have no idea. Like, I do not keep up with fucking celebrities, so maybe they got a little bigger while I wasn't looking. But from what I remember of these women, they're not fat. So... Is there really there's no site of grace here either? I really want to get to a site of grace because I want to continue. I want to make sure I've explored everything thoroughly. I think there is one up there if I like rush. If I bum rush it. Because I want to try to go down the other paths that I didn't go down on those ants. Alright, we got it. That's fine. Yeah, gonna ignore you guys for now. I'm on an exploration mission. Was it that way? Okay, let's see what's up here.
In the 2000s, women were subjected to fairly specific representations of what was attractive and what was not. Most of us were exposed to movies and television shows like
Hey, we found
Bridget
the map.
Jones's Diary.
Look at that. We can see where the fuck we're going.
Love Actually, and Sex and the City that routinely referred to pretty normal-looking women as chunky or plus size.
Is that really a big thing? Maybe it was. I don't even watch any of these things. I am not aware of the plight of women, apparently. And they're being, the normal women being told that they're chunky. I missed this. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I don't watch a lot of female-focused shows, or I don't really watch shows in general. I'm more into the video games. So yeah, so I don't know too much about this cultural thing. I'm just gonna have to take her word on it.
Not to mention, society was becoming increasingly comfortable with the hypersexualization of practically everything. And I have to imagine, at least to some extent...
We got the site of grace we wanted. Okay. So we're gonna rest here. Actually do... Yeah, there it is. Okay. Got our ghost glovewort. There's a way to go this way. I want to go take the opposite way on that one anthill. Or not the anthill. Yeah, we want to turn right at the ants at the beginning.
That video games were a representation of these societal standards. Like, yes, all of those things, very bad, but one of the most shameful things we did during this period of time was put too many clothes on top of other clothes.
Yeah. Too many clothes on top of other clothes. Yeah, I don't know. You got your little see-through thing. You kind of have to wear clothes underneath it. That girl on the right with the sleeves and the fish and chip shirt might be a little excessive. Clothes on top. You gotta accessorize. Come on. I am not the style guy. But what's wrong with a little accessorize? A little layering. That's okay.
Like, I don't know why Lizzie McGuire is over here wearing 5 shirts.
That was 2, wasn't it? Did I miss that? Was that 5? It looked like 2. Maybe I was too distracted by her facial beauty. And I didn't see it.
Screw diet culture. Curb your spending habits.
True. It is unrealistic for women to afford clothes. We gotta curb that. Okay, so I can't actually go this way. Got it. So, cool. So what I'm gonna try to do then, I guess I'll continue up. Yeah, I guess I'll just continue this way, then continue up and around. I'll try to explore this area first. All right, let's do it.
The early 2000s was a cursed era for many young women and men, and it set the stage for the pushback that would roll around a short time later in the mid-2010s.
Yeah, I don't know. She said cursed area for many young women and men. I don't know that anything's really changed with men. There's not a huge pushback to stop sexualizing men. Men are sexualized less, I would say, than women. But that doesn't mean it's not rampant. Like, the Marvel movies, I think, are a great example of this. Like, you had a fucking naked Thor in the fucking video. And I'm pretty sure Chris Hemsworth was saying he was uncomfortable with getting shirtless a lot. I don't remember the exact quote, but I thought it was something like that. And so, having a fucking naked Thor that women, like, a bunch of women gawk and laugh at, like, that's super sexualized. And that hasn't really gone down. People make fun of men are naked and, like, pointed at and sexualized all the fucking time still. Seems to be happening way less to, well, not way less, but the decrease has happened more to women than it has to men. And also, in some ways, it benefits women. So, like, the sexualization of them allows them to... Sorry, I'm just... allows them to like be incredibly successful on things like OnlyFans, or on Twitch or streaming. So you just got a pretty girl who maybe isn't the best at whatever game she's playing, or maybe isn't that entertaining, but she's pretty, so she's gonna make it to the top of the charts. I mean, that happens to men too, but it definitely happens to women more. I feel like I could come with way more examples. I won't right now because I'm being nice. I can come up with way more examples of women who are able to use... Oh, why is it always dead end? Is it? Yeah, it is. All right, cool. Way more examples of women who are able to make careers off of just looking pretty and not actually being good at anything than I can of men doing the same thing. And I don't even mean like modeling. I just mean like people who just literally get on camera and like people watch them because they're pretty. And like, yeah, I guess there's some upkeep to it, but I don't know that being born pretty and then taking care of yourself is like a huge skill. So it can benefit women.
As the body positivity movement picked up some serious steam.
Yeah, I just haven't seen that much body positivity toward men. So I find it somewhat interesting that I get why we focus on women a bit because it seems to happen to women more, where they're body shamed and whatever. But I feel like in order to make this like a true body positivity movement, you gotta focus on both sides.
All of this seemed to have culminated in the intense desire to see what many considered normal women in media and entertainment. No more waif-thin supermodels, but everyday relatable women and girls.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fine. That's a... Oh god, I'm dying. I'm not dying. Got him. Double whammy. Got him. Alright. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, that's totally fine. I think we should have both. I hope everybody has all their needs met by all of their entertainment.
And then this gave way, I guess, to whatever the hell we're looking at and seeing and being exposed to today with fat acceptance and all this type of stuff, and I hate it here.
Yeah, there probably is some... I don't mind fat acceptance. It's just like, hey, we shouldn't shit on people for being fat. That's never going to work. As an ex-fat person, I used to be like 285, I think was my heaviest. I'm about 195 now. So as an ex-fat person, I can tell you that it wasn't shaming that actually got me to do it. Change. Not that I got shamed a ton, but it happened. People call me fat, you know, bullies or whatever, when I was a kid. But that's not what got me to do it. It was actually that my friend was doing it, and I wanted to fucking beat him. And just like, if that fat piece of shit can do it, I can too. And now neither of us are fat. Isn't that great? Yeah. So having good examples can help you get there. Oh my god, am I gonna die? Oh my god! We got there. Such a god at this game. Have you ever seen a better Elden Ring player? The answer is yes. But who the fuck cares? I'm a really good one. Fuck. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. Okay. Alright, we managed to dodge that while we were So yeah, so I think just have examples of all things. Have your wafer-thin people.
And also, just to be...
Have your fat people. Have your normal size, or average size, whatever. Have people of all things. Why not? Okay. I think the path... I think that's a higher up path, right?
Clear. This period of time didn't exclusively shame women's body.
Oh, yeah, she was talking about the body acceptance. One thing I don't like is a healthy at any size. That's just medically not true, right? It's fine to not shame them. That's okay. But let's not go around claiming that they're healthy. I don't need to go all Jordan Peterson on people and just start being like, nope, this is not pretty, whatever the fuck. We could have pretty fat women, that's fine. There's plenty of larger women who I think are quite good looking. But the healthy at any size, I think, is a bit of a... is a bit much. It feels like we're just lying. yeah, don't make people feel bad, but not at the cost of the truth or their health. I think that is totally whack. Yeah.
It definitely did that to men as well. But I think
Hey, she acknowledged men. After being incredibly sexist to us, Sydney, saying that we only desire sex and we're still cavemen, you acknowledge that we face some struggles too. I appreciate it.
a core component to this conversation is that men and women perceive that shaming completely differently, which we'll come back to a little later.
Men and women perceive that shaming completely differently. I wonder if she means... I'm not 100% sure what she means here, actually. Does she mean that men and women perceive the shaming of women differently? Or does she mean that men perceive the shaming of men differently than women perceive the shaming of women? Because I don't know that that's that true. I would agree that men and women perceive the shaming of, like, the other gender differently. So men perceive the shaming of men differently than women do, and women perceive the shaming of women differently than men do. I would agree with her there. Oh, God. So yeah, I'd agree with her there. I'm not sure which one of those she means. Hopefully she goes a little bit more into it.
Now, with all of this in mind, a population of body traumatized young men and women went on to enter the creative fields. And I think it's clear.
Or were they really body traumatized? I mean, I get what she's saying, but... Oh, crap. Hello. You're like an earwig looking motherfucker, aren't you? Ugh. Got you, though, bitch. No more shooting at me. Should've just came up here in the first place, but I didn't. But it's okay. I take the hard route sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta go the hard way. But now we're up here and we can explore. Yeah, I don't know. That was it really that bad that people were super traumatized by this? I get that it does change your... I'm not trying to say, like, it did nothing. Like, all the examples that she was talking about of, like, calling normal-sized women fat or whatever the fuck that happened in Sex in the City. I'm not saying it did nothing, but traumatized seems like a bit of an extreme term. I don't know. That's just seemed a little bit extreme to me. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. Does that look better? Yeah, I think that does look better. Oh god, it went down too much. There we go. Am I beautiful? Does this show my beauty still? Hopefully it does. Okay, we still got an item over there. I'm gonna try to grab... Can I? No, not really. Yeah, so it seems like an extreme term for it.
From media and entertainment today that a portion of these people were invested in the promotion of not only normal bodies, but their bodies. I think this is important to note because there is something about this group of people that means they want to see themselves and their social initiatives reflected in media.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally fine to want to see characters that kind of represent you in media. I don't know. It does make it easier. You can empathize with anybody, but seeing someone who's extremely similar to you does make it easier. It's just like, hey, I don't really even need to empathize with them. I just know what that's like. So if you're looking at like a fat person, if you're a larger person and you're looking at a larger person in media, you can immediately just be like, nope, I know what that's like. I don't even need to empathize. There's no empathy required. It's just, I've been in that, and so I know. So it's fair to have that. If you want to have people who've been through the same struggles as you, or are the same kind of phenotype or genotype or gender or sex, whatever, it totally helps with identifying with people. That doesn't mean you can't do it with other people, but yeah, I don't know. It seems totally fine to me.
Not to mention, reportedly over 40% of gamers are female today, so there's...
Yeah, I talked about that earlier. I think that is probably bullshit. I haven't looked into that study. Oh, Asian gaming population. First of all, that's not... oh no, 41% of all gamers in the United States. Yeah, I think they're counting mobile gamers here. I'm pretty sure I've heard that before. Which, I mean, is games, but, like, the term gamer generally doesn't mean mobile games. It doesn't mean you're playing your Candy Crush or Farmville on Facebook, right? Like, these are normally not it. I'm not I'm not trying to gatekeep. That's just how the term is used. Like, I don't think most of these women would identify with the term gamer. You know? Like, that's, I think, the most important thing. I don't... Maybe that's what they asked here, though. But I don't think so. That's not what I've heard. So yeah, so I'm going to press X. Like, I got my X button. Here I go. I'm going to press it to doubt. See? You saw me take the thing there. Pressed X to doubt. Wasted a fucking health pot on doubting that. But it's for the memes. The memes come first.
There seems to be a strong emphasis placed on making media that appeals to them.
To us.
Yes, to you. Yeah, I mean, but even if the numbers were lower, there should be probably even stronger emphasis placed on making them appeal to women, right? Because you want to get those people in there. You want to expand your customer base. I mean, I guess at a certain point it might be a lost cause. You might just be trying to get people that you'll never get. But I would actually think, yeah, 40% would be closer to, okay, I don't need to pander to them or like make games that appeal to them because they're already in here.
Although, you know, I probably should say that I don't know what kind of gamers these statistics are including.
Well, you brought up the article. Did you not read it? I said I don't know because I haven't read the article. You just brought up the article, so shouldn't you know? Did they not say? I feel like they probably did say. I don't know, though. Yeah, I don't, interesting that you don't know, but okay. If you don't know, you don't know, I guess.
In their analysis and whatnot. But I do have to say that, you know, maybe this is including things like The Sims. And if you play The Sims, you're not a gamer.
I wouldn't say that about The Sims. Well, I haven't played much of The Sims. But I wouldn't gatekeep that hard. I would just leave it up to them if they identify as a gamer. If that's like a primary hobby to them. Like, I don't. The Sims seems like it's fine. Like, I don't know. What makes that not gaming? I want to know. I'm okay with gatekeeping, as we learned on the stream talking about Jim Sterling. Totally fine with gatekeeping. I don't know why we would gatekeep The Sims out of being a gamer game. That one just seems really strange to me. I don't know. Go for it.
Fight me. Yeah, you Sims people. I am talking directly to you.
It is interesting though that like, oh god, these other dudes who like kill you in like a couple hits or something. Yeah, you're dead. I'm not doing it. Oh my god. Okay. These fucking things. All that gray shit that they're spitting will just kill you if you get enough of it. Which is lame. So we don't want to die to that. And we didn't. Oh god. Shit. What the fuck was she talking about? Oh yeah, she was shitting on Sims players. Oh yeah. Almost every girl I know who is actually into gaming at one point was deeply into The Sims. I don't know why that is. I know almost no men who actually like The Sims. I don't know if I've ever played it. But like, yeah, every girl that I know that got into gaming at least once in her life, and hardcore games too. So it's not just like, yeah, like these women would play Halo and Call of Duty or just hardcore RPGs. RPGs are a big one I found with women too. I know a lot of women who are really into like Baldur's Gate and what's the other one made by Larian that's like Baldur's Gate but not. I don't remember. You know the fucking games. Yeah, so RPGs, it seems like... Oh yeah, also, like, my ex was really into character creators, so she got really into games where you can create good characters. Maybe that's just it. Because Sims is like, what? Just basically a character creator? She got really deep into creating characters, so she always loved the beginning of a game so she can create a good character, and she'd spend hours and hours just making sure her character was exactly what she wanted. She actually started getting into Elden Ring because it had a good character creator and she enjoyed it. So yeah, I don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't know what exactly it is about The Sims that just, the women, they just love it.
Into your face. Yeah. Now, couple all of this with a few decades of intense criticism towards hypersexualized, scantily clad female characters, and it kind of makes sense why there's this intense desire to remove these perceived sexist tropes from media.
Does it? I don't think it ever will make sense to completely remove them. To introduce characters that don't fit that trope, yes, that makes sense. But to remove the super sexualized women entirely, I mean, we might be able to explain it and be like, hey, like, yeah, we all got fucking body shamed or whatever. So now we don't do this anymore. I think I'm coming up on the boss, aren't I? Yeah, I think he's like right in here. So I'm actually going to go back to here, level up and heal, and then we're going to run through this. So yeah, it might explain why they're doing it, but that doesn't mean that the logic makes sense to me at all. Yep, we're going to get our vigor up.
And this seems to have resulted in a few things. For starters, many new characters have been designed to meet realistic beauty standards, and existing characters have been downgraded to be less sexualized and
Yeah, I still don't understand the one, I can't remember the girl's name, but that green girl. I still don't, like, she's a fucking beast creature thing. She's like from a warrior race. She's not a human being. I don't want to count her toward the unsexualized of women. First of all, she's reasonably scantily clad when she's in your camp. And I also don't think she's a bad-looking that. Maybe that makes me some kind of furry or whatever, but I don't give a shit. I'm a weird dude. I can get down with it. But, like, she just isn't a human being. So why the hell would we say, oh, she's an example of, like, dumbing down women? Like, I don't know. Would we just call any race of creatures that don't look as pretty as humans, would we call that down, like, the desexifying of women in games? Like, I don't know. Like, I can't imagine you have, like, a race of, is it like the Hanar in I don't remember if they have genders, but the Hanar in Mass Effect are like fucking jellyfish creatures. Is that a desexifying of women if we have a female one and it's just a fucking blob? Like, I don't know if that makes any sense. So yeah, what if you had, like, yeah, I don't know, a spider woman or something? Are those desexifying women? Yeah, I don't get it. First of all, I'm pretty sure they made Shelob sexy in the Shadow of Mordor games. Pretty sure she got a an actual female that you could see and she was hot. So what do you guys say about that? Anyway, yeah, this is a boss area, so we're gonna do a fighting here. I don't remember exactly what the boss is, but we're gonna do a big fighting on them. There they are. Alright, get our wolves out. They might be completely fucking useless to us. Oh yeah, dragon skin. I sort of remember this. I don't remember the strats for fighting it, but I do remember fighting it. I remember actually kind of struggling with this before, so hopefully I do a little bit better right now. Already not doing great, so that's good. Dogs are getting smashed. I think all of my dogs, yeah, all of my dogs are dead. So, all my dogs are dead. I'm not doing great. Okay, we hit each other. Good one. Good meme. Okay, I don't know what this is all about. Okay. He's got his wings. He will fly. Cool, he ran away from my thing. That's great. Okay, yeah, not doing good. And I died. So hopefully I won't die listening to the rest of this video.
Overall, less sexually appealing. Sometimes these changes are
Lara Croft. Yeah, the new Lara Croft is just supposed to be more realistic. I would not say that she's super hot still. But just because she's not like the rail thin, insane proportions of the OG one, I don't think she's a very good example of this. I wonder if I should, as I've said, I don't actually give much of a shit about the difficulty of this game. I just want to see everything. So I'm going to summon the Jellyfish. Good old Mr. Yelly. Hopefully he hangs back and he just shoots it a few times, instead of having the dogs die immediately. Here you go, Mr. Jellyfish. Alright, let's see what we can do. To the Dragon Skin Soldier of Noxtella. See, he's shooting it. Not doing shit for damage, but, you know, maybe this will help. Alright, we're getting good damage on it. Already dying, but we got good damage on it already. Mr. Yelly's doing stuff. Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming, actually. I didn't do anything good to prevent it, but I did see it coming. Alright, Mr. Yelly. Shoots them. Do the shoots. Did I not hit him? Okay, Mr. Yelly died. We missed again. Not looking good for us. I'm trying. It's not looking good. What? How was that a miss? Oh, I didn't do anything. That would be why. She ran. We did it! Second try. Thanks to Mr. Jellyfish. Alright. I believe there's a... Oh, did I not pick up my things? Oh, nice. But I believe there's a site of grace nearby now. So just explore.
actually executed well, as in the case of Lara Croft.
Good! She agrees that they're executed well. I definitely agree. Yeah. It's great when we come together and agree on stuff.
She's been given more clothes and her body has been adapted to look more normal, but she's still very attractive. Just to be clear there.
Yes. 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 Yes, she is.
The same really can't be said for characters like Aloy from Horizon Forbidden West.
Okay, let's see. Let's see the evidence of her being ugly now. Apparently she was super fucking hot, and now she's super fucking ugly. Let's hear about it.
And several Mortal Kombat characters. When Horizon Forbidden West was first teased in 2021, the game's main character Aloy was immediately criticized for her new physical appearance.
Okay, please show. Yeah, she's got some chubby cheeks. That's a thing that happens even in like fit women. That can definitely happen. I need you to show me what she used to look like as well, so I can see that she got ugly.
Many people felt that she looked overall less appealing.
Okay. Yeah, that's also, we talked about how attractiveness is subjective. So maybe she's more appealing to someone else. But okay. Like maybe she's just more appealing to the game developers. What level am I? 57. Let's do it.
And personally, having played both Horizon games, this is an assessment that I agree with, although I would say that, like, no one in those games is particularly attractive.
Well, that's a good point. No one in those games is particularly attractive. So what's the issue with Aloy not being, like, incredibly hot?
But it's hard to put a finger on why that is exactly. In an attempt to defend her new appearance...
Okay, I got it. Please, for the love of God, please. I'm begging you. I'm fucking begging. Please show me what she looked like before and what she looks like now. Begging. I need it. Where is the fucking... I don't know where my little thing is. Can I clear all markers somehow?
The usual suspects jumped in to argue that makeup doesn't exist in a post-apocalyptic world, she lives in a hot climate, which is why she's blotchy, and even that she's eating more food now, that she's beaten the machines in the first game.
That seems reasonable. I don't know why she would be worried about putting on makeup, given the world that she lives in. I'm not incredibly familiar with the world of Horizon Zero Dawn, but it's something like an apocalypse, right? People are, like, sort of tribalistic, and they are constantly under threat of the machines. I don't know. I thought there was somewhere I was supposed to go after this, but I'm not really finding anywhere to go. I don't think I want to just fall down this, do I? That'll probably kill me, right? That looks like it goes somewhere, but... Maybe I am supposed to fall down that? I don't remember. That's what the guide tells us. But these, ginger white girl who spent her entire life in Utah and Colorado suddenly finds herself in the height of California heat. I mean, it makes sense that she would be, yeah, a little bit flushed or whatever. Looks like find a giant mouse on there. Yep. Nomadic merchant, check out a shop. Winger to sell. Root from the chest. Gather materials. Take the path downstream and confront several more giant ants and basilisks. You get the immunity and horn charm. Dragon skin to the next stuff. And there's nothing else that can be done in this zone right now, so we'll head back to Liurnia Lakes and explore the shores. Okay, we're heading back to Liurnia and the lakes. Begin exploration across the side of Grace Folly on the lake. So we're doing the lake's west starting point.
I'm not kidding. That is a real thing that people have said, and I don't know what I'm doing here anymore.
Why wouldn't those be valid? Don't just say that you disagree with it. Tell me why you disagree with it, because those seem reasonable enough. All right. Liurnia Lakes. We're looking for... I can't tell where the fuck this is. I zoom out a little bit. There we go. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's like here. Okay, gotcha. We're aiming for that kind of area, right? So we're aiming for like here. We'll just go to the boiled prawn shack and start chilling.
Regardless, it's clear that someone made a decision to change her appearance when there was no meaningful reason to do so, and honestly, not enough time had passed in the game world between games 1 and 2. It had been about 6 months. I don't know why she looks so different.
Show me what the fuck she looks like. Okay, please, side by side. This would really help with your argument here that this is happening. Please, show me what the fuck she looked like before and what she looked like after. Please, I'm begging you. I'll look it up if you move on. I'll look it up, but please just show me.
They also gave her a single same-sex love interest.
Okay, single same-sex love interest has nothing to do with attraction, so I don't know what we could be talking about here. Where the fuck? How did? Oh, it's right there. We found it. Okay. Got rid of that stupid fucking thing. But yeah, that has nothing to do with ugliness, unless you're saying lesbians are ugly, which I'm gonna guess you're not saying, Sydney.
In the game's DLC. And that makes me think that maybe they made her ugly on purpose so that she could be a
What? What the fuck does that mean? You gotta make women ugly so that they can be lesbians? What the hell does that mean? I have no fucking idea what she's talking about here. Okay, no, tell me why you would have to make a woman ugly in order for them to be a lesbian. Please explain that one to me. I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Where's the lie? Sydney.
Where's the lie? Where's the truth? What the fuck are you talking about? Why would you have to make a lesbian ugly? What the hell does that mean? Can someone please explain it to me? What the hell that means? What does your sexuality have to do with your attractiveness? Is it just... Well, first of all, she talked about how... Why can't I... Is my Sight of Grace gone? That was crab. That was it. The crab fucking stopped the Sight of Grace. But you talked about how you actually appreciate attractive women in games. So wouldn't it, in theory, if women appreciate attractive women in games, wouldn't it make sense for attractive women to also be lesbians in games? So that lesbians are attracted to them too? What the fuck? Honestly, what the fuck are you talking about?
Please! Mortal Kombat 1 also experienced...
Oh my god. Not only did she just say fucking lesbians have to be ugly, but she didn't show what the fuck she looked like between the games. Alright, we're sitting at our Sight of Grace. We're all safe. We're all safe from her bad takes. Let's see. Is it Aloy? Forbidden Dawn versus Forbidden West. Images. Let's see. This is a really good comparison. So this is the two. This is the big thing that we're mad about. We've got Forbidden Dawn here, Forbidden West here. So she's a little bit more tan in this one. I'll agree. Though there's severely different lighting here. Her face is a little bit more blotchy. And maybe her cheeks are a little bit more rounder. First of all, she looks... Her cheeks are kind of round already. So if we're being nitpicky, I don't know. This doesn't look drastically different. This still looks like the same character. The skin blotchiness is interesting. That might be just a result of technology. Forbidden West was made for PS5. I believe it works on both PS4 and PS5. Where Zero Dawn was made for PS4. So that could be entirely... The skin blotchiness could entirely be a technical thing. I don't know why the color would be different. But I'm not certain it is. So there's that. And her face... I can't see her neck. Her neck looks like it's probably similar. Maybe she's a little bit more double chinny, maybe. But this isn't some drastic change. I think this is mostly due to the lighting. I think a lot of this can be blamed on the lighting. Like you see the clear, harsh shadow here, and a nice yellow light versus this is... I guess it's similar. Yeah, I don't know. It's clearly at least behind her because this is all lit differently. So lighting does a lot to change. And position of your neck. Like if I'm doing something like this versus like, you're doing the Ethan Klein one of these versus just sitting there. Maybe that's a bit different too. This isn't an obvious huge downgrade to me. Maybe I'm fucking crazy. Yeah, that's just a weird face she's making. It's fine. Here's another comparison. Again, she's making a way different face. Her face just does look more detailed because it's a PS5 game. Yeah, we're just showing basically the same... Is that the same picture? We're using the same picture in a lot of spots. This is an actual different picture. Those look like basically the same person to me. Okay, somebody made her pretty there. Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't seem... This is the best comparison I think we have. She looks good in both of these. I like her eyebrows more in this one. The skin blotchiness isn't a big deal. What's the actual major... She does look different here, but I don't know how to explain it exactly. But it's not... This isn't some drastic... We know she still looks like her. I don't know. It's hard for me to say that this is like some kind of downgrade in sexiness. First of all, she's not some hugely sexy character to begin with. And the rest of her body looks almost exactly the same. These two, she still looks pretty good here. So I don't know. Please show me the comparison and explain why it's different next time. And also, try to be a little less homophobic with your they made her ugly so she could be a lesbian. That's a really strange take. I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Similar treatment. The recent release of the game's trailer sparked a tremendous amount of criticism with relation to several characters.
I do remember people saying that some of the characters in Mortal Kombat are actually uglier and not just more covered. I don't know how true that is. Hopefully she goes... I'm gonna guess she won't go into it because she didn't actually show the differences between Aloy. Folly on the lake. Okay, ride torrent to avoid being poisoned and exploit a cavernous swamp. Okay, so we're going into the swamp area, like here, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that she's not gonna go over it, but I really hope she does.
Most notably Tanya. And the criticism came from two fronts. One, it was noted that Tanya's previous appearance had been scrapped. Her otherworldly features that made her quite beautiful were gone, and she looks nothing like her earlier depiction.
Okay. Does she really have the unibrow there? That's... Yeah, I mean, that's... This... From what we can see between these two, that looks like a pretty significant downgrade in how she looks. She also seems like it might be an entirely different character. They removed the glowing eyes too, so I don't. I'm not really sure what's going on here. I might agree with this. This does look worse, but that's why I said at the beginning. I think Mortal Kombat might be the best example right now of this trend, if it even is a trend.
And two, the actress on which she is based is very beautiful, and the two now...
Yeah, I mean, that's a good-looking woman, so... let's see, they told me... Ride torrent, avoid being poisoned. From the last set of grace, head south and hug the wall. Keep going north. Okay, head south and hug the wall and keep going north. Okay, we'll do that. Got our crap friends here. Yep. We're gonna do that. Okay, yeah, but that's a very good looking woman. So if they turned her into... Well, I also think like, probably got to look up pictures again. I feel like she might be using pictures that are deliberately worse looking here. But yeah, if they turned her into that original thing we saw, then yeah, I might agree that this is a weird thing. Although, just because you based a character on a real life person doesn't mean you have to make that person or that character look exactly like them. I don't. You can use them as like Ellie's model in The Last of Us doesn't look like I don't remember her name. Ashley Johnson, I think, doesn't look like her. So I don't think that's a requirement. But it may lend some credence to the idea that they tried to make her a little bit less attractive for some reason. But I'm much more likely to believe this because we see there's clear evidence that they made them less scantily clad, while keeping the men like Johnny Cage like shirtless and shit. So I might agree with you on this one.
I'll look nothing alike. This, of course, raised a bunch of eyebrows. Why use an extremely beautiful woman if you have no intention of depicting her actual appearance? Something really interesting...
Alright, let's see. From the search, eventually you notice a road heading into a town. This is a village of Almanar. There's a very important item you don't want to miss. Okay, so I don't think I did what they wanted me to do right. So let's go back.
Thing to consider here is a prevailing attitude in some radical feminist communities that basically says that in order to defy beauty expectations and standards, you have to actively abandon them. Now, obviously,
In order to defy beauty standards, you have to actively abandon them. I mean, maybe if your goal is defiance to them, then yeah, you probably do want to abandon them. I don't know that your goal should necessarily. Well, it should be. The goal shouldn't be to be like, okay, we can't have any classically pretty women in video games. That definitely shouldn't be your goal. Your goal could totally be, hey, like we want women of all levels of beauty, let's say, in video games. That's totally fine. And we want what the fuck? I had something to say. Oh yeah, and we want people who aren't traditionally beautiful to not be shunned for it. Like that's a totally fine goal. It seems like they might be creeping a little bit on the aspect of forcing everything to not be pretty, which is really stupid and cringe. Okay, I believe I'm coming up to the village of the Albanirax now. So let us keep going.
I don't know how many people who work in the gaming industry consider themselves radical feminists, but I think it's plausible that at least a portion of them do.
Well, it's like guaranteed that at least a portion of them do, right? Just by how many thousands of people work in the gaming industry. So that's just fucking guaranteed. But I mean, that's fine though, right? That doesn't. I still haven't seen this trend. Like, we've gone through 2 now. Maybe. Well, we haven't finished with the Mortal Kombat. I don't think. Did you make your way up to Silver? Okay. Yep. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know if we finished with Mortal Kombat, but the Horizon Zero Dawn example doesn't seem to fit, in my opinion, especially because her body was still looking fine, you know. And I don't even mean like fine, she's sexy. I just mean it looks the same. But Mortal Kombat might be a better example. Okay, let's.
I witnessed the oppression of
Waking
Nightmare.
Okay.
Put this time under the suffer justice to let the scar. Put this under the justice to let the scars.
All right, cool, gotcha. Yeah, progressive quest. If she dies for any reason, it will be 2 times stone. Ahead from here, you can loot 1 times larval tear in a coffin.
And if these developers and designers are trying to apply their personal social justice or intersectional framework to the creations they're working on, it makes sense why existing female characters are being made progressively less and less attractive.
Yeah, is that a problem? If you want to push a message in your game, is that a problem? We can have any message that we want in the game. Like, you might disagree with the message and therefore don't like the game. But, like, the idea of doing that is totally fine, right? Like, why would we say that you can't put your own messages into your art? That'd be a fucking absurd statement, right? So yeah, I guess you're right. It would make sense. Hey, we got our level 2. It would make sense that they're doing that, but that's not necessarily a problem. It would be a bit of a problem if that's all that's happening. Is it just every game you fucking have, it's got this social justice fucking message in it? That'd be a problem for, yeah, because the diversity in the messaging should stay there, I would think. Even for shit I disagree with, I think it's okay to have that in video games. I will criticize it. Like, if you just have, like, some super racist fucking video game or something. And just like, yeah, that's fine that you made that. Cool, go for it. That video game sucks. Fuck that video game. Even if it's great to play, in a lot of ways, that video game sucks. So we don't... I don't want to say you shouldn't do it. It's not a problem if you do it, especially if there's a market for it. Go for it. Do you, boo-boo. We should just be able to criticize it for it. So I'm hoping she's just going to say, yeah, it makes sense that it happens like this, and I'm just criticizing the message. I don't agree that it's happening at some kind of big scale, but if you want to criticize the message, then just, yeah, come armed with arguments. Let's do it.
Again, the position here and the idea behind this is that women must actively uglify themselves in order to demonstrate their commitment to female liberation.
Yeah, that's complete bullshit. Women do not have to do that. Activate the site of grace and put the well to your back to go forward, left up a slope toward the perfumer enemy. Okay, so they want us to go up the slope first. Okay, cool. Yeah, I totally agree. You can be totally empowered women. Women come in all shapes and sizes, so you don't have to make yourself fight beauty standards in order to fight, like, in order to be feminists and support women. There are traditionally pretty women. There are traditionally, or not traditionally pretty women. So you absolutely do not have to make yourself look one way or the other in order to support women. That goes in both ways, I think. You don't have to make yourself really pretty. You don't have to make yourself really not pretty or whatever, uncontrasted, whatever fucking term you want to use for anti-pretty. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Offer tier. How was this item? Okay. Pass the perfumer. There's a suspicious pot. Hit the pot and it will transform into Albus. There it is. Yeah, we did it. I want to offer tier.
I haven't a clue. No secrets lie with me.
So this might explain why it feels like we've gone.
Oh yeah, Witcher is a great one where there's all kind of fucking sexy women in that. Also, Cyberpunk has a bunch of really good-looking women in it too. And they get very scantily clad in Cyberpunk, and The Witcher. So, again, supporting that this isn't happening absolutely everywhere. It does happen somewhat, but it's not some huge fucking sweeping trend. At least not as far as I'm seeing. It is essential. You can also use to travel to a slumbering wolf shack to talk to her, and medallion and agree to help her request line. Okay. We finished talking to him.
On from one extreme to the other. These characters are either beautiful and hypersexualized, or they look like the new Fable character.
There seems to be people who are totally in between, right? I couldn't tell if she was saying she's saying that, or if that's like the straw man, or if that's like what she thinks feminists are saying. I couldn't really tell there. But yeah, that's definitely not true. We have people of all fucking different things. We've got sexy women like Samus who are barely sexualized. And then we've got sexy, like Lara Croft isn't really sexualized anymore. We brought up that. Still super hot, but she's not sexualized. At least, not that I've seen. I'm gonna go back down there and do that. I didn't feel like I should have been doing that anyway. Yeah, so it's yeah, definitely. There's all kind of spectrum of video game characters.
And nobody can explain why. And sadly, similar to...
I can explain why she looks like that. Why can't she look like that? Why can't we have a woman who looks like that? Is it bad to have ugly women in games? First of all, I don't think she's that ugly. I think she just makes some weird faces and she's got some busted teeth. But like, I don't know. What's the problem with having people look like that? I'm gonna not get this guy. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Okay. I'm gonna look around this little area, and then I'm gonna take a really short break, but I'll be back soon.
To the point I made in my Disney Princesses video, this binary leaves us with very...
The binary definitely doesn't exist. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. She demonstrated that it didn't exist by talking about Lara Croft, I think. Where they toned her down, but she's still incredibly pretty. And she's not overly sexualized. She has shown that this is a thing. So I don't know. I think there's characters in Mortal Kombat as well that are quite pretty but less sexualized. So they're right in the middle too. Like I think Katana, I believe, is a little bit more covered up, so she's not nearly as sexualized as she used to be, but she's still pretty. She didn't bring her up in this example here, so I'm assuming she still thinks she's reasonably pretty. But yeah, I'm not seeing this binary that she's talking about. Anyway, I'm gonna take a short break. I will be back. I just need to go pee, grab some food, but I'll bring the food back so we can continue exploring ugly women in games. All right, I have returned with some Doritos that I'll munch on for a little bit. Not gonna do a lot of it, just a couple. Tide me over until I can eat lunch. Let's continue.
A few options in between. Alongside this is the idea that a woman can't simultaneously be beautiful and strong or feminine and
women can obviously be beautiful and strong. Lara Croft, I think, is one of the best examples of this. She's not sexualized, incredibly strong, and incredibly hot. Any fighting game character shows you that. In video games, well, not any, but like all of the fucking Street Fighter women show you that, like, hey, we're beautiful and we'll kick the fucking shit out of you. So I don't know where the hell this is coming from.
independent. And that underscores the subtext that surrounds this debate. A female character, a woman, can't be strong and powerful while also subscribing to standards that are viewed as oppressive.
Yeah, that's a really stupid way to view things. It's really narrow. I don't know why women would have to conform to what you think is fair for them. Women come in all shapes, sizes, and characteristics. Doesn't make any sense to me.
You guys might think that I am lying about this as an ideology, but a radical feminist once told me to my face that wearing high heels is a tool of the patriarchy.
Yeah, that's a really stupid fucking statement. I don't. If feminism is all about freedom, then why women doing what they want? Why shouldn't they be able to do high heels? I can understand if you're saying, hey, men set these beauty standards on women and they're unfair to them. So, like, you might be furthering that. So I kind of get what they're saying, I guess. But I don't know. If the women want to do it, let them fucking do it. Let them be super feminine, super hot, and super strong and super powerful and all that fun stuff. Just let them do what they want to do, huh?
I was like, lady, I'm 5'11". If I wear high heels and then stand in a room full of average-sized men, I am the patriarchy.
I appreciate that. She's 5'11". Dang, almost as tall as me. I'm 6'3". Tall women actually experience a lot of issues. I've talked to a few of them. And they often find issues dating men because a lot of men don't actually want to date them because they're taller than them. Which is a bit of a problem. So, yeah, maybe don't wear high heels if you're super tall. I don't know. Maybe it'll help a little bit. Yeah.
Anyway, this was an attitude that I came into contact with again and again while researching for this video. The need for realism and the inability to suspend disbelief when it comes to hot, skilled, badass female characters. I think it's fair to say that both men and women approach and perceive realism and fantasy very differently. While I was researching for this video,
she hasn't demonstrated to me that they, because like this feminist ideology she's talking about, men can believe it too. Men do believe it too. So, I haven't figured out why she's talking about men and women perceive this stuff differently. What's the actual, like, how? In what way do we just perceive it differently? I mean, I can understand we do perceive things differently in general. So men perceive the treatment of women differently than men perceive the treatment of women differently than women would, and men perceive the treatment of men differently than women would. So, I mean, that makes sense. But I'm not sure about... Actually, let me go back and actually just get what she said, because I didn't fully understand, I guess.
I am the patriarchy. Anyway, this was an attitude that I came into contact with again and again while researching for this video. The need for realism and the inability to suspend disbelief when it comes to hot, skilled, badass female characters. I think it's fair to say that both men and women approach and perceive realism and fantasy very differently.
Do they? I don't... Because... I don't know. You're an example of a woman who seems to perceive this, although you think it's happening, the uglification of women or whatever is happening more than I do. You seem to perceive it reasonably similarly to the way I do. So why would we say that men and women perceive it differently? And there's men who don't agree with you. So, what's the... excuse me. What's the, Man, I shouldn't have grabbed hot Doritos that are sticking around in my throat. What's the big difference in our perception here? You say it's fair to say that, but based on what?
While I was researching for this video, I listened to several female speakers and read countless articles and studies that mention the same thing over and over again. Women want to see realistic depictions of female characters.
Yeah, I wonder if those are backed in evidence, because I know women who like to see the super hypersexualized women too. I like to see all. It really just depends on what you're going for. If you're going for a really stylized game, sure, show me the super sexy woman or unrealistic men, or really, like, just show me people who don't really make sense in the real world. If you're going for a really realistic game, like, okay, yeah, you don't need to have supermodels running around. In fact, you probably shouldn't, because I don't see too many supermodel-looking motherfuckers running around in my day-to-day. So yeah, so I don't... Maybe they want to see more of them, because they don't feel like they see too many realistic women in games. That might be fair, I'm not really sure. But the idea that women want to see this and not see the other one sounds crazy to me. Yeah. Oh, do I have a gold summon sign? What other interesting... Oh, there's a crystal sword. Yep, did that. The boss of the village. Teardrop scared is an item in essential. Yep. You know what? I guess I'm just gonna summon her. Why not? Sure. We'll give it a go.
One 2021 article stated, female players are constantly fed unrealistic body proportions, outfits, and armor. It can be difficult to become truly immersed in a video game world where you don't feel respected or welcome.
Yeah, that does happen. But it happens to men too. It might happen to women more. It's kind of tough for me to say. I think the new Mortal Kombat is actually an example of it happening to men, but not to women, because they toned down the women but didn't tone down the men. I think Marvel movies have way more sexy men in them. And that's not video games, but have way more sexy men in them than they do sexy women. If you look at Gears of War, those fucking guys are fucking crazy looking. Are they perceived as sexy? No, but it's just like, they're like the big buff dude that's like impossibly fucking buff is a thing that's in games. Like, even just fucking, like, Ryu in Street Fighter, he's not even a super muscular guy in Street Fighter, but he's fucking insanely muscular. So that's a beauty standard that's laid on men, I guess. Well, I don't know if it's a standard, but that's, yeah, like, men get confronted with this too. So I'm not saying that they're saying it doesn't happen to men, but it seems like the conversation is a little bit one-sided, and it has caused us to, at least in some cases, although not seemingly many, it's caused us to just only focus on that one side. And then, in the case of at least Mortal Kombat, change the women, but keep the men. And it seems like maybe that's happening a little bit in Marvel too, I'm not really sure.
Most of these articles focus specifically on female characters, and there isn't much mention when it comes to men. Despite—
Hey, that's what I just said. Look at that. We're just on the same wavelength. I don't know that this is as much of a problem as you're making it out to be, but we're at least on the same wavelength on a lot of things. I appreciate that, Sydney. I really do. Yeah, we got that. Crystal Sword. Omen Killer. You can fight the field boss. Omen Killer, obtain the Crucible, not Talon. Boss, and probably has new dialogue for you at the round table. Hold! Okay. Okay, so, let us go here. I don't remember if it'll heal us up if we go to the round table hold, but we're gonna go back there now. So let us do it. Apparently we're gonna get invaded.
the fact that male characters are still subject to the same standards when it comes to unrealistic body proportions.
Yes, we are. Male characters are subject to those standards. I totally agree. Okay, so this is there you are. Enter the royal remains. Ugh. Yeah. God tier.
And outfits. Even the article I referenced at the beginning of this video admits that this double
Great
standard
anime.
exists, acknowledging that mods exist across plenty of games that make men shirtless.
Yeah, that's cool. If you want your mods for make the men shirtless, that's totally cool. Make the women shirtless, make the men shirtless. Let's have everybody get all their needs met.
May the golden order shine through you.
Okay, so we want to talk to... Oh, what's his name left? Oh yeah, he's the asshole who attacked me. Royal Remains armor. That's actually pretty good stuff if I remember correctly. Where is Nefali? She die? She was here, right? She did die in my, when I summoned her, so... Exhausted dialogue, speak to Gideon about her, and then return her exhausted dialogue one more time. It may be that summoning her was bad.
Wonderful. Make the to the capital. The two fingers. You may be for wait.
Yeah.
Mine should
Oh, I didn't actually mean to talk to you more. Maybe we gotta come back. Excuse me. Let's try to reload this. Nope. Yeah.
I guess that men don't really care about that because I'm like 98% sure that most men enjoy seeing other men shirtless.
I don't know if I enjoy it. I'm totally cool with it. It can be cool sometimes. I definitely do it. I'm not even trying. I'm totally comfortable with my sexuality. Men can be sexy. I've definitely looked at a man and been like, damn, that's a good looking motherfucker. But maybe I gotta go talk to her back outside. There's a couple people in here that I'm just not fucking like. Why I talk to you and just
Always good to start.
yeah, I don't have the rest of his shit. I don't know what's going on with that. I think I do need to talk to her again. Was that it? Did I miss my chance to talk to her? Old Albus is there. She wasn't noticed as there, but we'll try. Yeah, do men like to see other men shirtless? I'm sure a lot of them do. It is kind of fun to like see a man like rip off his shirt or whatever the fuck and just Hulk out, even though he's just a dude. Like seeing Rambo. Rambo's a cool looking motherfucker. So is Hercules, and they're like fucking half naked. So I don't entirely disagree. I mean, sometimes it's cool to see them shirtless, but not in the same way that I find it cool to see women shirtless. I'll admit it. I don't know if that did anything. This isn't even where I want to go. Yeah, I think she did die. I think that was the issue. I got her killed when I summoned her. Lame.
I go to the gym too, guys. I see whose muscles you're checking out, and it's typically not us.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a different phenomenon. Well, actually, no, I guess not. But that's probably a phenomenon of just like, damn, I fucking admire that guy. He's looking really good. I want to do that. I want to be that fucking guy. Yeah, dudes be checking out dudes. You gotta appreciate. See, you gotta admire. People be miring, you know. Yeah, she's not here. I think summoning her just made her die. Yeah. She's kind of lame. I wouldn't try to kill her, but you know, it is what it is. I do wanna. There's too many bad guys here. That's okay. I'll just go over here.
At least I'm coming after everyone equally today. Another
you
writer,
go.
again
Get 'em
in
all.
2021, also expressed sad.
Although you were explicitly sexist against men earlier. You know, I was very offended. Very, 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 very offended. I don't know. Is this heavy armor? I think it is pretty heavy. Still medium load right now. We go full Royal Remains. How we doing? Okay. I'm just gonna rock the Royal Remains stuff for now. Because I'm looking cool. Yeah, you were sexist to men earlier, not to women, so you're not quite coming after everybody.
Sadness around the attractiveness of female characters, writing, "We should be saddened every time controversies over the relative attractiveness of female characters arise. We saw how out of..."
Yeah, should we be saddened by that? Maybe? Probably not. Because if people are just upset that like a franchise, I keep using Mortal Kombat because I think it's the only good example that we brought up in this video. But a franchise like Mortal Kombat has a bunch of sexy, scantily clad women, and then it doesn't. That it seems reasonable to be like kind of upset about that. Slumbering Wolf Shack. Yeah, it seems reasonable to be like, oh, you took out an aspect that I liked about this game. So it's totally reasonable for like there to be a mild controversy of it, and I wouldn't be sad about it. There being a controversy because you're just changing something that people liked. So I don't. I wouldn't be saddened about it. I don't think we should celebrate the uglification like of an individual character if we like keep it within the same universe and everything, and they just look shittier. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like there's anything to be celebrated there. I think it's fine to make like the Fable character is a great one. It's just like this is just a fucking new character. So who the fuck getting mad over that doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, I think that's stupid. But getting mad over an existing character getting uglier seems fine. I don't know. I don't get all bent out of shape about it. It seems a little bit unnecessary, but just saying that like, hey, there used to be like really sexy women in this game, and now they're not. I think that's a totally fair to say. Lieutenant of the Almanurac. Okay.
Me when needed, and I will fight.
Return to vision and loot other. Yeah, I did that. Turn to the round table hall. Yep, I did that. Did that. I'm gonna try one more time, just to see if she's there. I doubt it, but I'm gonna try one more time.
Of hand things got last year in reaction to The Last of Us Part 2 having female protagonists who didn't have typically feminine bodies. The reality is that women, and more broadly...
The problem with Abby was not that she was not typically feminine. It's that her body didn't make any damn sense in the fucking apocalypse. It's tough for women to look like that in real life, although not impossible. But in the fucking apocalypse where you're just eating fucking burritos or whatever bullshit they claimed she was eating, like, oh, she's got a really nice diet. Like, no, she fucking doesn't. She's got a shit diet. It's a fucking apocalypse. I see they have real food. I see she's not starving. But, like, that level, like... We found her. Hey, we found her. Anyway, that level of fucking bodybuilding is fucking insane. I don't know why the hell they made it like that. It's fucking ridiculous to me. So yeah, I just there's a reasonable controversy there because it's supposed to be a realistic game where they did a good job of setting up the kind of lives people lead, and then they show you a person that doesn't make any fucking sense. So I don't. Yeah, I would not. This article is like sounded like it's fuck. I don't think they even understood the controversy around that. I didn't hear anyone just bitching that Abby wasn't sexy. Like, I didn't hear anyone fucking doing that. So, yeah, I don't know what the hell this article is talking about with Abby. Also, like, Ellie looked pretty good. She wasn't, like, incredibly sexy or anything, but she looked pretty good. Nobody was complaining about her. So, I don't know.
Journey to the cap. The two fingers you may be out.
Okay, I can talk to you, but yeah, I can talk to you about that.
Indeed. So I had honestly determined. I suspect a dose of.
Cool. All right.
People come in every shape and size, and they are under no...
But they don't in the fucking apocalypse. You're not gonna have super obese people or super buff people in the fucking apocalypse. Unless somehow you have found all the fucking food. The food is gone. It's just not there.
Ah, you, please.
Okay, yeah, I need to reload. Got it.
So
Oh, okay.
already do right for indulging father. I would have done, and yet I betrayed.
no obligation to beautify themselves to appease strangers. We deserve the option to consume media that reflects that. This writer is referencing...
They do. You absolutely do deserve the option to consume media to reflect that. But people deserve the option to consume media that doesn't reflect that. So I don't... And Abby is definitely not an example of this. Abby is a really unrealistic body standard for people in the... like, right now. Let alone people in the fucking apocalypse. So I don't think she does what you're saying she does.
Controversy surrounding The Last of Us Part 2's character Abby, who is muscular and probably not one that a lot of people would consider feminine. Abby did produce a lot of negative feedback, but this...
It's fine for her to not be feminine. That's totally cool. She can have like a non-feminine feature but not be the actual Incredible Hulk. You know, that's totally fine.
This likely could be attributed more to the fact that The Last of Us Part 2 did an...
Father has
All right,
now.
we're gonna keep doing
No, how could I say? Father has always given
Okay,
me
did we
his
do everything we
guidance.
needed to do with her
And now,
yet?
I've lost it. No, how could I say? Father
Okay,
has
yeah, we're done with
always
this.
given me his guidance. And now, I've lost it.
Enormous disservice to the first game, made her character kill another beloved character, and then force players to play as her for the rest of the story.
Yeah, none of that killing Joel or anything had anything to do with people complaining about what she looked like. You can have her kill Joel, or you can ever be really nice, and I think people would still do it. It may have amped it up because people just fucking hate her because she killed a beloved character, and then they tried all this really stupid methods of like trying to make us empathize with her. Like you have to fucking pet the dog and shit. Even though she's a monster, she was ready to kill a pregnant woman. Yeah, it may have amped that up, but I think people would have still been complaining about it either way because she looks like the fucking Hulk in the apocalypse. Yeah, we'll talk about it, why not?
So with that said, while Abby is not stereotypically attractive, people disliked her for a host of additional reasons. And as far as real representations go, I think it's fair to say here that your average woman absolutely doesn't look like this.
True. True. Based and true. Alright, falling on the lakeside of Graves and head west and north. We're on a falling on a grave. Okay. Yeah, totally agree. She's completely unrealistic. I don't know why you would use her as a example of realistic women in games, and then say you're sad that people are upset about it because you deserve realistic women in games. That's fucking absurd.
It's not to say that a designer can't create an Abby-like character because so few women like this exist out in the world, but if the point is to represent normal body types, even this isn't normal. And
Yeah, it's definitely not normal, but even worse, it doesn't make sense in the world that they created. That would make some sense in the modern world, although not a ton, but it makes zero fucking sense in the world that they created. Yeah, so let's see, west and north, what are we actually looking for? Falling on lakes there. You eventually come into the entrance to the converted tower. Alright, so we're looking for some kind of tower thing. Yeah. I thought I saw something for a second. I don't remember what I was looking. That's not it, right? I'm not really sure. We'll keep moving.
I suppose that's part of the issue with the representation of females in games. We're still not being given normal women, and to be
Are we not? Yeah, maybe not so much. There's not a ton of normal men. There's normal women as side characters, I would say. Or just like NPCs. Well, I guess they're all NPCs, but... Yeah, I feel like there's normal women as side characters, but there might not be that many as a main character. I think Ellie would come pretty close. Yeah, Ellie's probably the best one I have. But to be fair, I don't think there's that many normal men either. Like, how many games... I guess you can... In all these cases, you can make normal men and women. Like, not in all these cases, but in cases where you have a character creator, you can make a normal man or a normal woman. Like, my dude in this, I don't remember exactly what he looks like naked, but he's not like super buff or anything. So you can make them. But yeah, I don't know that like regular characters, like, okay, we can even think about like, what are some recent games that came out? Spider-Man has 2 male protagonists. I guess they look pretty normal. They do look fit, but not insanely so. So maybe that's kind of that. Okay, that's probably the tower they're talking about. I hear it jingling. Is it a red one, right? Yeah, we'll still go kill it. Why not? So yeah, I might agree that like non-create a character characters of women are not. There's not too many like, I guess, average 21st century women in there. So average weight, not particularly sexy, not particularly ugly, so just like, you know, middle of the road in every way. There's probably not too many of them, but I wouldn't say there's too many men either. It seems like it's just an issue across the board.
Fair, how could we possibly? Nothing about gaming is realistic or normal. And don't get me wrong, this isn't a bad thing. The ability to play as a
Yeah, not nothing about gaming is realistic or normal. You can have very realistic games, and those should have realistic characters in them for the situations that they're in, at least. You don't have to have middle of the road characters, but if you have like a realistic like simulation type game, they don't have to be middle of the road, but the character, like say you had like a realistic like military shooter or something, you should have a dude who looks like a soldier or a woman who looks like a soldier. So they don't have to be middle of the road. They could be like muscular and fit or whatever, but that's because they're fucking soldiers. So that would make sense. Or The Last of Us, while its gameplay isn't super realistic, the world is reasonably realistic. And the characters in them shouldn't be fat and enormous. They should be, like, if you're going to be running around shooting, if they're like a smuggler or something like Joel was, it makes sense for Joel to be pretty strong and fit. Yeah, middle of the road isn't very common, and games are mostly unrealistic. But you should at least have characters that fit the world that you're building.
A highly skilled, extremely attractive person is part of the enjoyment of these games.
Yeah, that doesn't mean we shouldn't have other ones, but it is totally valid to have the highly skilled, extremely attractive person. If that's what you want to make. Totally cool. Alright. Perform the erudition gesture. I can do.
For some, it offers a level of escapism. Things don't always have to be realistic or make sense. And for whatever reason, devs and designers seem to find this rationale perfectly acceptable when it comes to male characters.
Yeah, I think they find it perfectly acceptable when it comes to female characters too. There seems to be plenty of sexy women still around. We've got one example of Mortal Kombat unsexying some women. But even then, there's still sexy ones in there. So, I don't know that there's a huge hypocrisy here. There's a hypocrisy maybe around the conversation around it. But I don't know that video games demonstrate this hypocrisy on some kind of big scale.
Many of whom are also sexualized, unclothed, and extremely unrealistic as far as their bodies and appearances go. Even male players themselves are fine with this, given that these characters are potentially a fantasy of what men want to be.
Yeah, I think a lot of... Yeah, I think there is basically no one complaining about men being sexualized, and there are both men and women complaining about women being sexualized. Yeah, I don't know... Yeah, I'm doubtful on how much how much this uglification of women in games is actually happening. But the conversation definitely seems to be only around women. And it is odd that people just seem to act like objectification of men is just not a thing. That's a very strange phenomenon.
Strong, often handsome, armed to the teeth, and skilled in all sorts of combat situations. They are something to aspire to, and therefore, the user experience is more enjoyable because these are characters that men can actually emulate.
That's an interesting thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's more enjoyable. You can have a character... I mean, that doesn't... It's not necessarily not enjoyable. That you can enjoy that, but you can also have a character that, like, is despicable and absolutely not something you want to despise too, but that's still very enjoyable. I think... well, actually, that's pretty obvious in, like, some of the glorification of, like, Tyler Durden and Walter White and the Joker. Like, people really like them but they're fucking despicable people. The Joker isn't pretty at all. Tyler Durden's a pretty good looking dude. Walter White isn't pretty either. But these are people that men clearly look up to in some ways, but are despicable fucking things. The like idolization of them shows that it's not necessary for men to be male characters to be like perfect role models. I'm gonna summon me a jellyfish. I'm gonna fight this avatar.
And not only that, but I think men are better with escapism and fantasy in general.
Yeah, that's a weird statement. Why are men better with escapism and fantasy than women are? Is it just because it's feminist stuff? Because there are feminist men who believe the same crap that you don't like. So, I don't know. Strange statement coming from a woman. I don't see any reason for men to be better at that than women are. In fact, it might even be the opposite. Because... Wow, I fucking died. It might actually be the opposite, because women seem to be, at least as far as like books go, women seem to... I know there's been some studies on this. I couldn't quote one at you. But women look for nonfiction... Or women look for fiction way more than men do. Men seem to tend toward nonfiction with books, at least. So, yeah, I don't know that you have any evidence to support this claim that men are better with fantasy than women are. That doesn't make any sense to me, actually. I mean, granted, the nonfiction doesn't have to be fantasy, I suppose. But... they're at least deep into stories. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Oh shit. It's just, yeah, it's a really odd statement, a really weird sweeping statement to make, just based on the fact that apparently some women are getting uglier, even though we didn't really demonstrate that very well. So now we're just going to make claims about gender differences based on this. Really odd. Yes, jellyfish, distract from me. Doing your job. Actually going to heal myself once because only one more hit. I fucking missed because I'm a goddamn retarded. There we go, we did it. Yeah, just really oddly gendered language. Or not gendered language, but really odd statements on gender differences here.
Obviously, we don't really know why that is. Chalk it up to men are from Mars and women are from Venus.
I don't know why it is because I don't know that it is. I feel like I could maybe guess... Well, I don't know. I would need evidence as to this being a thing before I figure out why it is. I need to know that it is first.
Or something. One last thing that I would like to note before I round out this video and finish it off is that in my travels of the internet, when I was reading the comments of other gamers, I noticed that some of them called out the double standard that exists when it comes to ugly male characters.
Double standard that exists when it comes to ugly male characters. Give me a second, I'm going to read a little bit here. Stay left hugging the minor Erdtree cliff. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go this way and then hug a cliff around the minor Erdtree. Okay, we'll try to do that. What is the double standard around ugly men in games? I am curious what she's talking about here. It's just that there's no ugly men in games because there are, or maybe there's no ugly male protagonists in games. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm having a hard time predicting what she could be saying here, so it's a... find the road ends catacombs. Yeah. I don't know why I traveled back there. I seem to be ended up fucking right back here. Unless they mean go down there? Yeah, I'll go down there. That's probably what they're talking about.
There are a lot of them. And how people are...
There's a lot of ugly dudes in video games? Did I miss them? there's ugly side characters in games. What are some really ugly male protagonists? There's lots of ugly, like, weird monsters and shit like that. But maybe there's just no ugly protagonists? Male protagonists? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I agree that there's a lot of ugly males in games. I'm struggling to come up with, like, a really well-known ugly male in games. I'm not getting much. I haven't found this fucking thing that they're talking about. Is it there? Maybe I need to go around the side of it? Maybe that'll do it? Oh, yeah, that thing's pointing, so that's probably it. Okay, well, yeah, it could be that I'm stupid and don't remember all the ugly men in games. That's very possible, but I was never under the impression that there was a lot of ugly men in games.
Very unfazed by this. While this observation is definitely true,
I'm definitely not fazed by it, so I guess I'll agree with them there. But yeah, I guess I just didn't. Even if it was happening, guide the gatekeeper for those returning to the roots. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't. What really I need to know. So many people do this. They just claim something is true, and I don't need fucking data every single time you say something's true. It would help, but I don't need data on the number of ugly men in games. But it's odd for me to say, like, there are a bunch of ugly men in games, and you don't even mention one. Like, that just helps your argument so much. To provide examples of what you are talking about just helps so much that I just don't understand why people don't do it. They just claim things are fact without fucking backing it up. It leads me to believe that maybe it's just not a fact. So if you don't have a bunch of examples, I'd start doubting your statements so much. So I'd really like her to provide at least a couple of examples of ugly men in games. But, okay, tell me about men not being fazed by it, I guess.
I think this can be chalked up overall to the fact that there are just more male characters in any and all video games.
Yeah, that might be true. If there are more ugly men in games, then that might just be because, yeah, there's more men in games. There definitely does seem to be more male characters in games, which makes some sense given the demographics. Gamers, but yeah, that definitely does seem to be true. I would be curious if the proportions are the same, though. I would guess not, because I don't know. Like, I can't think of. I don't know. I'm struggling to come up with too many ugly just game characters in general. So yeah. But if there is more ugly men in games, it's probably just because there's more men in games. I would agree there.
This means that there are greater opportunities for all different sorts of characters, not to mention the fact that we interpret male and female attractiveness in different ways. So
we interpret male and female attractiveness in different ways. I'm not sure what she means by that. We have different standards for them. I don't know what they mean. Does it? Maybe it's something like this. A really attractive woman is someone who can birth and care for children, while a really attractive man is someone who can like kick the shit out of you. Is that what she means by that? That would be true. Is this a secret? Haha. I found your secret. You cannot sneak up on me. No. So yeah, that's about the only thing. I mean, yeah, there's different standards, but that's not interpretation. It's just different standards. So maybe the interpretation or the reasoning behind the standards is different. Is that what she means? I'm not sure.
So given the fact that we have so few female protagonists, when one is made ugly, whether she existed previously or is a new creation, we notice. We can't help but notice.
That might be true. I don't know. If there was like, if you have 100 male protagonists and 50 female protagonists, and let's say 10% of each are ugly. So we've got 10 ugly males, 5 ugly females. If you add 1 ugly female, then yes, that would be a 20% increase in ugly females because you went from 5 to 6. If you had 1 ugly male, that's a 10% increase in females or ugly males. So I guess, yeah, what she's saying does make some degree of sense. But wouldn't, if the phenomenon was actually happening, wouldn't you expect them to rise at a similar rate? So you would get 1 ugly male or 1 ugly female to 2 ugly males, if the phenomenon was happening to both. I guess, yeah, like one ugly female protagonist would be more noticeable than 1 ugly male protagonist. If that's what she's saying, then yes. But I think we would start to notice. Actually, I don't know what the psychology on that is. If we saw 2 ugly males and then 1 ugly female thing, would we react the same? I would guess she's probably right on that, and that we wouldn't, because we wouldn't really look at the 2 men at the same time. We would look at 1 woman once, but then we'd look at the 2 men separately, mostly. So I think I'd agree with that. We did some math and we got there and we agreed with her. Yeah.
With that said, too, I don't deny that this means that there.
Yeah. So what I think that means is we just need more women in games, right? So this would be less of a problem if there's more women, right? I think that's what she's about to say. I'm not sure, but that would definitely solve it, right? Or at least help it.
There is a lack of range for these female characters. But I am probably not the woman to ask because personally I am totally fine with playing as very attractive.
Ugh. Stuck there for a little bit, but got unstuck. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Yeah, well, I think that would be weird to say that she's not the one to ask. I think her perspective is totally valid. I don't think this trend is happening, but the perspective of I still am fine playing as attractive females, totally valid. Why would we not ask her? I mean, we should get a whole bunch of different perspectives when we're talking about this topic. So it wouldn't be the perspective that some people would want to hear, but yeah, I don't know. Like, your perspective's cool too. Search treasure chests. Ryu Lucaria's soldier ashes. Alright. Yeah, so, I don't know. Clearly your perspective matters. You got 1.1 million views on this.
Gaming characters who are just really good at climbing walls. I like the badass boss babes. I think they're pretty great. And unlike other entertainment mediums, this is one of the areas where I don't need things to be realistic for it to be enjoyable. Finally.
Yeah, also, yeah, I've seen people, yeah, it's probably this one, right? Ooh. I love the people helping me. Yeah, I just don't, yeah, I don't know if a lot of people do need it to be realistic in order for it to be realistic. And really sexy women in games is realistic. They happen in real life, so they're realistic. And they happen in video games too.
While I understand and appreciate the desire to tone down some of the hypersexuality in video games, I also don't think that the quest for realism is necessary. And in the end,
yeah, I don't think that uglification and realism, or uglification of women in games, and the quest for realism are the same thing. I don't think anyone's going to argue that Fable. Well, maybe they're related in some ways because you have your if they're saying like realistic beauty standards, right? But that would be like Fable and Horizon Zero Dawn are not realistic settings, so it's not like a full quest for realism. It's specifically in that aspect, I suppose. So yeah, I mean, I started off sort of disagreeing with what she was saying, then I came around to it.
I think it undermines what makes games so fun and exciting in the first place. Our ability to disconnect and experience something that we don't get in our everyday lives. Now, before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder to check out...
She's gonna open the floor to all of us? I can finally give my opinion? Oh, I've always wanted to give my opinion on things that she said. I didn't have permission for the past 25 minutes of her video. I did not have permission, but now I have it, so I'm excited. Or no, she hasn't done it yet. Oh shit.
Foom using the link in the description.
That foom thing sounds like fucking snake oil, so I mean, try it if you want, but, you know, do it at your own risk, I suppose.
Or scanning the QR code on screen, and they can help you start your habit-breaking journey today. Now, I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Are video game characters, particularly female ones, actually getting more unattractive?
No. I think maybe we have a couple of examples of this, but it's not happening at any fucking rapid rate. It's not some huge thing that's happening all over the place. And I don't think you did a good job of telling us it is. You got one good example, Mortal Kombat, one I already knew. So, no, I am not convinced.
Do you think that this is deliberate? Do you think that it's...
It's definitely deliberate. I don't think people... If it is happening, to any degree that it is happening, it's definitely deliberate. You don't accidentally make somebody uglier.
Not happening, and people are blowing this way out of proportion.
Yes, people are blowing it way out of proportion. Aloy wasn't uglier. Mortal Kombat characters might be. An ugly new character in Fable is fine.
What do you make of some of the criticisms and arguments surrounding this topic? Like the Fable heroine, or Aloy, or even some of the Mortal Kombat characters?
I literally just said all of this, so I'm not going to repeat it.
Do you think this matters? Do you think it doesn't matter?
I think it does matter. I just don't think it's something that's actually happening. I'm trying to get through the end of this video before I fight this boss. Yeah, it's something that matters. But it clearly matters because people seem to care about it a lot. So it's something that matters, but I don't know, it's just not happening much yet.
Matter? Do you think that it's giving us an indication of where we are heading generally?
Yeah, it might be an indication of where we're heading generally. It might start happening more. I could see that. But I'm okay with having women of all levels of attractiveness. And what you think is very attractive, I might not find very attractive. I think that green girl from Baldur's Gate is attractive. So, and she's like some kind of warrior monster thing. So, if you don't like it, that's okay.
As far as entertainment goes, and what you generally make of this issue overall. As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. This was a long one, and I'm certainly glad to have you here.
It was a long
one. If you are
one.
not subscribed to the channel
It's only
already,
26 minutes.
I recommend you do so if you want to see more of me and more content like this.
No, don't subscribe to her. You need to use that valuable subscription to subscribe to me. Yes, I need it. I only have like 152 subscribers or something like that. She's got almost 1 million. Don't waste your time on her. Waste your time on me.
Leave a like and a comment.
Yes, also like, comment, all the other shit. I never ask people to do that. Well, I've been doing it at the end of every video. But, you know, just leave a like, comment, you know, answer all the questions that she just asked. Answer them on my video. How about that?
Because I do read the majority of your comments, and
I read all of them. I don't get very many of them, so I've been reading all of them.
I love hearing your feedback, and I will see you pretty people in the next video.
I'm glad she thinks I'm pretty. She's pretty too. Thank you. All right, we did it. What did we learn from that? We learned any existence of an ugly woman is a problem. Okay, why is my... Okay, we did it. All right, cool. We learned that even new ugly characters can be an issue, apparently. We learned that... what the fuck else did we learn? We learned Aloy is apparently really ugly now. We learned that we should apply beauty standards to non-human characters. We learned that. What else did we learn? We learned that I at least agree with her that Mortal Kombat might have been a little bit of avocation there. We learned that you can just make claims without examples, and apparently that is persuasive. And then finally, we learned if you're going to be a lesbian, you have to be ugly. She said that. So, I don't know how much of those things I agree with. Not many of them, but, you know, that's what we attempted to learn. And we're learning right now that I'm really good at Elden Ring because I'm going to kill this fucking boss. So let's go. That's him done. Where's the snail? Is the snail out yet? There he is. Get him. There we go. Get him. Whoa. There you dodge my bloody slash. You die. Alright, where's the snail? Bring the snail. Bring snail. There he is! Got him! We finally learned that I am better than a spirit color snail, even though I use summons. That still makes me cool. I'm still a cool guy for doing this. Well, I agree with her. Y'all very beautiful people. Thank you everyone who stopped in, even if you didn't hang around. I appreciate you hanging, or being here for a little bit at least. Let's go rest of this side of Grace. So yeah, thanks everybody. Gonna be streaming again Thursday and Friday, looks like. Because I have those days off for Thanksgiving and going to a concert on Friday, so I just took the day off. Celebrate Black Friday. So yeah, thanks everybody who dropped in. And I will catch y'all on the next one.